up, y'all? Kofi Kingston here, and I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks, depending on what that drink is, preferably non-alcoholic, you know?
How's it going? I'm Celtic Warrior Shane.
Soda.
I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Maple syrup.
Fella.
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Welcome to the dive bar of the IWC. Welcome to Wrestling on the Rocks. We are your drinking buddies, and you are ours. Thank you for coming in and having a drink. We got with us today Miss AmandaJayne. Say hello.
Well, hello. How's it going?
Going good, going good. I'm at Ref Marsh. We're at WOTR, the show. We are clumpless today. We are missing a clump.
Producers in the back.
Yeah. Yeah, we have producer lady here. Gosh, why do you got to forget producer lady?
Producer lady coming up the rear.
Hey, don't say it like that.
That's bad, dude.
What?
Yeah.
I had my bad dragon glass, so I just put it back. I should have just kept it.
Your bad dragon glass?
Yeah, I've got a little rocks glass that says bad dragon on it.
Oh, okay.
We got two,
like
actually. Here's the other one.
Like red dragon, but not.
No, like bad dragon, like baddragon.com. Sponsored, not sponsored.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Check out baddragon.com. Speaking of which, Corey and Carmella have a brand new YouTube show.
Woohoo! I haven't watched it yet.
I think it debuts on Monday.
Yep, 28.
Oh, I thought it already came on.
No, they've been advertising. I think it's been really cool the way they advertise it on Monday Night Raw and on NXT. It's part of the show, like the way they're advertising it. They want people to see. It's not just something that's adding to their YouTube.
Yeah.
I just think it's cool. I just think it's exciting.
Yeah.
Nothing special about it.
Well, it will have nodes of Attitude Era, is what Corey said.
Yeah, Corey said if you miss the Attitude Era, I feel like it's going to be pretty sexually charged is I think what we're getting out of it.
They're
Heating it up.
You know, they're both hot people, so, you know.
Yeah, I ain't mad.
Yep.
I'm
Me
mad
too.
at it one bit.
They're a hot couple.
Now, yeah, that's what she just said. She goes, well, they're both pretty hot. And I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm not mad about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sizzles.
Yeah, keep it coming. Yeah, I just wanted to shout that out because, you know, obviously we're big fans of them. We like them.
Oh, and happy birthday to Corey, too.
Absolutely. Cheers. And happy birthday to Corey Graves. If you listen to the Bear With Us podcast, Matt. What? You're standing there staring at me like you want to yell something. Just
No, their show is going to have a little bit of the podcast sprinkled in.
Yeah.
That's what they said.
I think by that, I mean, what I gather is just because their podcast is so open about their relationship, and this is a reality TV show style thing, so it's going to have similar construct. But we'll see. We're definitely going to check it out.
Everyone knows they're dating, you know, so what's the big deal? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, it's crazy. And it's also cool, like, just good for them in general, because, like, when you think about how their relationship started with that tweet from Corey's ex-wife, and everyone just, like, hounding Carmella, and then there was the Fabulous Glow team looked like it got pulled, and Carmella was taken off TV for a while, like, just trying to get the heat to die down. And to see it go from that to her having her own wine, them having a podcast that's doing well, to them having a TV show about their relationship.
That's awesome.
Good on them.
Engaged and getting married, like.
Yeah, to engage.
I know.
Cool.
Yeah, just it's awesome. The posting thirst traps, it's the best. It's the best. So, just cheers to them. Speaking of cheers, let's go with a little bit of what's in your glass. Amanda, what do you got there? What are you drinking?
We have sponsored, not sponsored today.
Mm-hmm.
We have cherry with vodka. That
very good.
You know, of course, it's totally vanilla. Because what else? You know.
I also have sponsored, not sponsored. I have Sonic Hard Seltzer. I'm starting with the original lemonade, and then I'm moving into the cherry limeade. We also got regular limeade and wild berry are the 4 flavors in this case. So we're gonna see how many of these I can get through.
I'm jealous because we don't have that.
Yeah, it's the only thing that sucks about them, if I'm being real honest.
Mm-hmm.
All of them are clear. They're all clear color.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, That's what seltzers are. They're all clear.
Yeah, 100% of them are clear, which is why I always... Where'd I put it? Oh, right here. I have red food color. I drip into my cherry limeade one, so that way I can have the full experience. If you look, even my lemonade here is it's red. I put food coloring on the ice, and then I can pour
yellow.
I don't need to put yellow. I only have red. I don't have yellow. We didn't get all of them. We just only bought red. We got it because we were doing a Dexter podcast, and I needed something that looked like blood on the ice cream. So
got it.
And it worked. Looked great.
There you go. There you go. Secret of the pros.
So now they're all. I even thought about putting grenadine in it, but it's just then it wouldn't be
it wouldn't be the
it
same.
wouldn't be keto anymore.
Well, not only it wouldn't be keto, but it would make the taste.
I don't mind it being a little sweeter and a little more alcoholic. That's a win-win, man. These things are probably great with grenadine. Just in time coming through. Cheers, Thursday night dive bar friends. Cheers to just in time, and thank you again, my man, for coming through and having a drink with us last night. Me, Beard, and Justin were hashing it out, talking about all the news in quotes. So let's get into some of it now. We'll start with. Or wait, you got birthdays. All you said was 40,
I do.
But there's other birthdays. Hit them up.
Yeah, there are other birthdays. Tomorrow is also Shinsuke Nakamura's birthday, so
Absolutely.
Happy birthday.
to Shinsuke.
Yep. Maria Kanellis Bennett is celebrating on Saturday, as well as Ric Flair. And
There's going to be 109.
Then we have on Sunday Penta. So cheers to you, Penta. And then the Murder Hawk Monsters on the 28th, rounding it up.
Oh,
Lance
very
Archer.
cool. Very cool.
Lots of good birthdays.
Do you think Penta gets a pinata and breaks the arm off? Just like
Yeah,
bars
probably.
it? You know what I mean? That'd be sick.
Mm-hmm. That would be.
Jeremy in Time says, cheers, happy Thursday to our dive bar friends. So cheers to Jeremy in Time as well. They put out in the In Time Wrestling podcast, they put out their one about AEW and NXT today, so we'll see how we agree or not. Let's see. So some of the new stuff. Let's start with something easy, simple, because we talked about it a little bit yesterday, but the rumor is that AJ Styles re-signed to WWE for major money. In general, I was just surprised he re-signed at all. Not that I thought he was looking to leave, but just because the last 2 times that he signed a contract, he said, this is probably the last wrestling contract I'm going to sign. And every time he does, just the end of the contract rolls around and he goes, yeah, I guess I still feel good. Let's fucking roll through. Like, I'm not ever going to tell him to slow down. What do you think, Amanda?
Well, I'm a little shocked myself, but I mean, they need that kind of veteran leadership.
Yeah.
That I think is really missing. So, I love AJ Styles. So
Yeah.
I'm glad he's still keeping it in there because we don't know when and if Cena's going to return.
That's true. You never
And they
know.
need that, big star kind of mentality.
And he's just so good. I was listening to interviews about him too. He's just such a natural talker in general. There was an interview where he said, he like goes, yeah, they give me a script. He goes, but I don't memorize it. He goes, I don't do word for word scripts. He's like, all the sheets want to say that everyone's scripted so heavily. He goes, they give me the script. He goes, but I say it how I want. Like, he goes, no writer in the writer room is from Georgia. He goes, they can't say things like I would say things. He goes, so, and he's like, here's a secret to all the rest of you who get the scripts. It's easier to memorize that way too. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, if he can teach these people how to deliver lines, even that's a huge, massive thing, because some of these.
Yeah,
some of these
Ricochet.
talents struggle.
Sorry.
You haven't even seen the last couple times he's talked.
I know, but it's still ingrained. It's in my head.
He's getting better. He's coming along. I'm really happy with
I
how
know.
Ricochet's been.
His last PWG show was hard to sit there
Oh, and listen to him
when he
talk.
made his speech. It was very hard.
Well, he's getting used to it.
Bless him though.
Yeah, he's still amazing.
Yeah.
Every time I see him wrestle, it's just like, God damn. No. So,
He's-
I mean, that leads me into the next one. So here's the deal. Guys like Ricochet are fucking incredible. They're so good. I understand when people say they believe he's underutilized or undervalued. But I also don't know where he fits in on a larger scale? Is Ricochet versus Roman Reigns really a thing? Is Ricochet world champion? Is it truly validating every time, right? You have guys like Piper who straight up said, don't give me the world title. He never wanted the world title. He felt he could be important without it and do his own thing. Every show needs a beginning, middle, and end, right? There's a lot to be said for some of these careers that don't end in a world title, that don't have world titles go through them. And that brings us to Cesaro. Cesaro, reportedly no longer with the WWE. He quietly exited, as they say, after failing to agree on a new deal. So Cesaro is no longer with WWE, and he is considered a free agent. I do think one thing that's worth noting is it just means negotiations are at... It didn't even say, like... I mean, none of us fucking know. I don't understand contracts, but so far as we know, they're not at a standstill. They just haven't agreed to terms, and his contract has expired. So is he a free agent technically, or is he a free agent truly? Like, is he out there trying to get bookings? Or is he saying, okay, well, I guess I'm off TV until we figure this out? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't necessarily mean he's gone.
No.
It does mean that he's just not signed.
Yeah.
I do think it helps him, the internet outrage, as it were, that that he's no longer with WWE. The amount of love that you see on there could give him some leverage to say, look, guys, there's a fan base that loves me, and look, this isn't nothing. And, rumor got out and I started getting phone calls. Maybe he can get what it is he's looking for and stay. Or maybe he can go somewhere else and do whatever the fuck he wants. We all want these guys to just be happy and successful. Yeah. What do you think about it?
Well, I'm kind of shocked by this. I did not know. I love Cesaro. Okay, I loved his work before. And there's places he can go. Yeah. But if there's one true place that he really should go, is maybe he'll go back to the newly revamped Ring of Honor or whatever that's going to be in April. Because everyone's guess is who knows with that one. Obviously, as we get closer to the date, we'll probably talk about it a little bit. But, that's where I kind of see him as, and where he kind of would fit the best. Because I don't think because people at AEW, they know Miss Cesaro, but no one really knows Claudio. And, Claudio was a fantastic wrestler. I mean, the guy wasn't formally trained. I mean, that shocked me when I heard him on Colt's podcast. I was like, whoa, he learned from seminars. So I thought that was pretty kind of cool because, seminar happens once in a blue moon. So, but I'm kind of in a state of worry because there are so many people, and AEW is cherry picking, obviously. And I don't think that would be a good place for him because he would do. I don't know what he would do either. But I really think maybe the new Ring of Honor. I don't see him at Impact at all.
But doesn't Ring of Honor feel like a step back? Like, one of the things that I see for one, Cesaro was incredible whether you saw him as Claudio or otherwise. He's never put on a bad match, and he's never not been able to get the crowd involved and into it. And I think that one of the most untrue statements that you see online and consistently see online is that he is the most underrated wrestler, because of the fact that he is the first person that everyone says when they go, who's underrated? And then he starts trending as being the number one underrated wrestler. Just tells me he's not underrated at all. Everyone knows how good he is. If everyone says who's the best wrestler that nobody thinks is the best wrestler, and everyone says the same person, then you're already off.
I think they
just proved your point.
I think people get mixed up when they think of underrated, meaning who aren't they showing on TV? Not,
I think people mistake for underrated, underutilized for being a champion. I think there's a difference, and that's what I meant. Like, I think so far Cesaro's had a career that's paralleled in a lot of ways Mr. Perfect's career. And no one talks about how shitty Mr. Perfect is and how, like, he's amazing. He's a Hall of Famer and absolute fan favorite and incredibly impressive. And one of those names that will always go down is all like, isn't it crazy they never won the world title? And people go, I guess so. But it also goes to show that there's a big place for those people without the world title. You know what I mean? When you have your Jakes, your Roddies, your Mr. Perfects, your Cesaros who never quite got to the world championship, Sami Zayn may never become a world champion. But he's still got a Hall of Fame career behind him, let alone what he's still got to do. And he's absolutely incredible. Not every person needs or should have the world title. And I don't think that every wrestler views the world championship as the single validating factor of whether or not they're incredible at what they do. You know what I mean? And that's all I'm saying is that I almost feel like it's undermining the way people say it all the time. No, let's celebrate how great he is, regardless of whether he has the world championship. It's not the single most validating thing. It's just, as much as we all glorify the world championship, and as much as I hate when people talk about the championship being a prop, just because I like the prestige of the championship, at the end of the day, the champion is a single player on an overall show. And other people can be equally important. They're just not presented in the same way, script-wise or story-wise or television-wise, because it's a show where that's kind of the crown on the king. I mean, if you watch Game of Thrones, the most important person in that show isn't the king the whole time. It's all the people fighting about the kingdoms. You know what I mean? And everyone's got their favorite ones in that show, too. And wrestling's very largely the same. Go ahead, Amanda.
Well, it's to further on it. I think that with wrestlers, the most important thing, and I don't know how true this is with them, but I would think that having some kind of and I hate using this word, legacy, something that really kind of defines them and has a special meaning in this whole scheme of wrestling. I think at the end of the day, that's really what they want. I mean, I would hope so, because I know a lot of the people that I like will never have a belt, and they should, but it's fine.
But
biggest
also
example.
Shouldn't. Being the champion doesn't actually mean you're the single greatest wrestler in the entire world necessarily.
No, there's people who are shitty champions.
There have been absolutely shitty champions, and there's been incredible champions. There's been champions based off charisma, and there's been champions who couldn't wrestle very well, and champions who could wrestle incredibly. It's just the spot. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. I don't know if it's us to say who should and shouldn't, because at the end of the day, we end up with a fan base that thinks all their favorites should be champions all the time, which is cool because that just goes to show the importance of the title that we've bought into as the fan base. If our argument for Cesaro is he should have the title, that means A, we've been worked twice.
Here's a great example of someone who should have had a title and did not from the indie scene. Cameron Grimes, aka Trevor Lee. He was the workhorse for years over at PWG. Every show, amazing. I don't think he's ever had a bad show. He never got the belt. And everyone was like, he was the one who should have gotten the belt. Because he was that good and he had the crowd eating out of the palm of his hand. But when I think about it, he made his mark on PWG in a way that when he got the microphone, he was unstoppable, and it was great. And that's, if I look back and think about it, those are the things I remember about him, is him on the microphone. And especially in his last run before he went to WWE, he was like, I wasn't supposed to be here. And for Bola, he went on these long rants, and it was great, and I think that's that legacy for him. And I think that in certain places and situations, a lot of these guys do leave their mark.
Exactly. And you can leave a mark
look at
having
Lethal.
the title.
Yeah, Lethal and ROH. And I don't want to say because, he was king of ROH for a long time, but he has a legacy over there. He'll never have that at AEW. He won't.
Of course.
And if you think he will, I don't know what you're smoking and what you're watching, but that's not going to happen.
Jeremy in Time says FTR is already teasing a match with the Kings of Pro Wrestling, but FTR teases a match with every single person. They just want to be on TV, man. They go out there and job out all the time. They're just trying to get on TV.
Yeah, they just want to be on TV. Come on.
Justin says, I think Cesaro would honestly fit well in Impact. After losing Josh Alexander, I think Cesaro would be a perfect replacement for them after losing Josh, which also was a weird thing when they lost Josh Alexander. I will say, with Cody Rhodes leaving AEW, that leaves a huge hole in the mid-card. This could be the perfect mid-card trade. I'm just kidding.
Could be. Or, it would be great if the Josh Alexander comes back and they get Ethan Page out of that fucking stupid minute a year. I want the North, goddammit.
That could be cool.
And that really would spark up that tag division. But anyway, that's another story.
But yeah, so Cesaro currently not with WWE, but we also don't know what that means. And I think that, I think for one, if he ends up re-signing with WWE, if they get to the deal that they both agree on, it'll be interesting watching all the IWC children bicker who went from, he'll be amazing at AEW, he should go to AEW, oh my God, to, oh my God, why would he ever do this to himself if he re-signs? At the end of the day, wherever he decides is going to be the thing that's best for him. And we have to respect that, given the idea that he knows more about his own life and the contracts than we will. So he's one of those ones where, anytime he's got a match, people are watching. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you know what I've always wanted to do, because Claudio is a huge fan of coffee, and look, this is a good segue to talk about New Wave.
Well, he also sells his own coffee.
Cesaro? But I would give Cesaro a bag of New Wave.
Yeah, I would absolutely give Cesaro a bag of New Wave. Flow State Coffee, specialty grade coffee with L-theanine and raw cacao for creativity and productivity, giving you better energy, focus, and mood than a regular cup of coffee, while decreasing negative side effects like jitters, crash, anxiety, blood pressure. If you go to newwave.co, NOOWAVE.co, and put in promo code CHEERS, you can get 10% off. And I'll be honest with you, I think right now they're doing 40% off your first bag. If you use, if you're doing a subscription, you get 40% off your first bag. I think the promo code's on the website. You can stack these two promo codes. You can put in both. So you can theoretically get 50% off your first bag if you add Cheers to their 40% off gig there. So definitely worth doing. Let's see, as we go through a couple more contract things, because we're contract experts. There is a rumor going around that Brian Cage's contract option was picked up, that they rolled it over into renewal. He made a comment of, I don't remember saying this to anybody, to which Sean Ross Sapp retweeted or responded with, just wait and see, with a smiley face, like he knows more than Brian Cage. But either way, most people I saw, I haven't seen anybody who was like not surprised. Everyone was kind of like, holy shit, they're keeping Brian Cage.
Yeah.
I agree, because they have been not utilizing him at all for a long time, even remotely, and he's been doing a shitload of indies. I think as far as Brian Cage goes, it's fucking free money, so I wouldn't disagree with him. You know what I mean?
Well, with signing Keith Lee and looking at the face of the Revolution match so far, which I know we'll talk about, but they're all hosses except for one. Yeah. Like, one of these things is not like the other, and that's Ricky Starks. So I was like, oh, well, but I wonder if Brian is going to come back in that kind of capacity where he shows up next week. I mean, I can kind of see that happening, but I don't know, because they're all big boys in that ring.
I could see that also, because Hobbs and, I guess we'll get to there too, but Hobbs and Starks starting that shit with Keith Lee. You could always have Brian Cage show up and team up with Keith Lee to take down Hobbs and Starks and do a thing there too.
I'm waiting for Hobbs and Keith Lee, but we'll talk about that later, so we'll move on.
But yeah, if he did, I mean, like, more power to him, man. Get the money. And like I said, the past year almost of Brian Cage's contract has just been free money, just money that comes in, and he's doing his own thing anyways. Like, I cannot knock a guy for having a contract that he does not have to do anything for.
Nope, he's getting his shit in.
Get your shit
DSMI.
in,
yeah, totally. And honestly, I think that's the best thing. I mean, for him, he's I call him Mr. Warrior Wrestling, because I think he's been on him and Sam Adonis have been on every single one.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, so good for you, Brian Cage. Kind of shocks me, but good for you.
Oh, yeah.
Because Brian's good people.
Yeah, I think that there was I think most people thought his contract would expire and they would just leave it.
Yeah.
I think that he just left it and then got the would likely got notifications like we've renewed it, and he just went, oh, okay, I'm still doing all the other stuff, but I'm pretty booked up for the next year. But I guess I'll squeeze it in if I can. Yeah. Call me when you need
Call
me.
me when you need me.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
2 more AEW contract things. One of them being Swerve reportedly signed to AEW. Swerve the Realist. That's what he's going by now. Instead of Shane Strickland, it's now Swerve the Realist. What do you think about him over at AEW?
I'm not surprised.
Who does he have a connection with over there? Besides Ricky, I don't know who. Does he have like a history with people?
Janela.
Okay.
But we don't know what's going on with Janela, actually.
True.
Hell, I don't even think Janela knows what's going on with himself.
No,
Let's be real. But I know when he was at Impact for a very long time. And was he really successful? No, not really, because he kind of was in the shadow of like Rich Swann. And I mean, I love Rich Swann. Don't get me wrong and whatnot. But I think because he himself, before he went to WWE, really elevated himself. Oh yeah, Jake Atlas. Duh, they've had some great matches.
Oh,
like 2. He put himself on this huge pedestal. This is the man that basically made Defy Wrestling what it is today up in Seattle. Shout out to Defy. And I think that, I hope that he gets the platform that he deserves, because I really don't think that happened with WWE and how it all kind of went down. But again,
I feel bad for him how it went down, just because I feel like he was what do you call it, like collateral damage. I feel like the issues they had were with other people in his faction, and then they said, fuck it, you're all gone, and he's kind of like, the fuck I do, like
what I didn't do anything, man. Like, hi. No, but also with Swerve, I think it is an injustice if Tony Khan does not get the rights to Ain't Nobody, because let me tell you, if you think freaking Judas is great, or Jungle Boy, the Baltimore song Tarzan Boy is great, when he comes out to goddamn Ain't Nobody, that whole place, it's like a dance club. Such a good vibe.
But my thing is I am not a fan of them using any of those songs. I hate when they use Wild Thing. I don't like Jungle Boy's entrance. I don't like Judas. I don't like anytime they use radio hits, because it fucking comes off Bush League.
No, but the way he comes out with it, it's not like he just like everybody, like Moxley just kind of runs or does whatever he does to go to the ring. Jungle Boy really doesn't do anything. But
I think when you use just a radio song, most of the time it comes off real Bush League. Because in VFWs, that's what they do. They just pull up YouTube. And you go, okay.
No,
my song's on YouTube. No. Great.
No, there's a way he comes out to it, and it's basically when he does come out, it's establishing his presence, because that's the aura of him.
I think I know what you're saying, and even in that regard, I think the important thing for Swerve to do is to come across like the way he did in Defy when he showed up when when Darby gave Nick Wayne that contract. Swerve showed up with like big boss feel, like kingpin shit. I think it's going to be important for him for him to show back up into anywhere he goes and have an elevated feel. It's not the same thing. You're not just getting Shane Strickland back again. You're getting a whole new guy on a whole different level and a whole higher plane. So I think that not using his old stuff at all, I think is great for that. Shane's gone. We're not doing the Shane thing. I'm Swerve the Realist, and I'm bigger, badder, and better than ever. Don't use the old music. He should just come out with his own. Like, literally cut his own track.
Mikey Ruckus. Yeah, I'm sure Mikey Ruckus is doing something for him.
I hope. Or just let him do his own. Like, Swerve knows how to make music. He does. A lot
of
that
stuff
that they
threw
in there. Yeah. Justin Time says, I don't even know what Orange Cassidy's theme is now, and I don't like the song that they gave him. They gave him Where's My Mind, right? Or did they give him another one? I don't know. It's just,
well, he used to come out to Jane, I think, in the Indies, and I don't know. Who knows? I don't care. I don't care.
Just does say, speaking of Warrior Wrestling, Jonah versus Lance Archer was announced for the next show.
Oh,
that could be something.
Speaking of Jonah, he's going to destroy Zicky Dice on Impact.
That'd be funny.
I want to see that. So tune in.
And then the final thing we have before we just get into the shows, Jeff Hardy said on some YouTube show that he's going to be going to AEW, and people said AEW confirmed all this stuff. Subsequently, Jeff Hardy tweeted out a little while later saying, nothing is official. It can't be right now. I've simply set a goal for myself and I will achieve it eventually. I think what that means is that in this interview, he wasn't paying attention to what he was saying. Plus, this thing was riddled with typos and bad punctuation, and it was a little weird, his tweet. So I think he just was not paying any attention to what he was saying. He said, I'm going to AEW, then also realized that he's still under a non-compete and can't be wrestling, so that it's contract tampering. The same way that they talked about with Adam Cole. Remember, they had officially given Adam Cole an offer, and Dave Meltzer reported it, and then Tony Khan said that couldn't have happened because that would be contract tampering. Fucking pull this tweet down kind of a deal. I think it was another one of those. I think Tony Khan is contract tampering, and it slipped out that he's already got an agreement with Jeff. He already had the agreement with Adam Cole, and I think that they're trying to, they're playing a little loose over there is what I think. You gotta be a little more careful about this stuff if you're gonna be... Because Bruce has talked about that in his podcast, the amount of times that they would call people and, or people would call them and say, hey, we're interested. His immediate response, he always said, would be, what's your contract status? I'm not saying we don't want to talk, but I'm saying that call me when you can talk. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you got to be really careful about that shit.
Or he forces himself too into the situation. But,
Yeah. I think that Tony just thinks he can buy himself out of any issues.
Yeah, but one day he's not going to be able to. But let me ask you about this interview. Yeah. Is it one of the journalists?
No, it was like some fucking random YouTube guy. It was like us. It was like if he came to us and said something, I'd be like,
journalist?
No.
In quotation marks. That's what we are.
No, just some schmo, man. Like, imagine if Stackhouse dropped some major shit about something on our show. It would have been like, what the fuck is this, dude? Why would you do that on our show?
Yeah. But then again, we're like, I understand.
Well, yeah.
Don't understand why, but hey.
We're disarming. We're drinking. We're having fun. Yeah, maybe you let us slip. Maybe that's part of the reason. We should have more guests on and have like the way he was drinking. Get more guests on to have him drink while they're like, oh, well,
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. Maybe I can get Cabanarama Ding Dong.
Oh, he can always come and hang out, have a drink, and
he doesn't drink.
It's not about what you drink; it's who you're drinking with.
Oh, I know exactly, and I'd have to probably send him like his beverage of choice.
Yeah, whatever.
Which is either pineapple hint or the Bywater of the mandarin orange one.
He's gonna talk about it like he'd be the type to be like, oh, I want this life water that doesn't exist anymore. They don't make. And then we have to track down a case of it somewhere. Yeah.
No, yeah. He's a simple creature. Okay, all I have to do is go on Amazon, and this is what I do. Okay, so Colt, next time I see you, I brought a peace offering on the boat actually too. Is I will always get a big thing of extra polar ice gum. That's his gum of choice.
Oh, nice.
Okay, he's a very simple man. He loves to have fresh pineapple, but that was kind of hard to do to take on plane. So no, he likes fresh pineapple.
A case of gum and some pineapple soda.
He used to be Diet Coke, but then he got off of the soda. But I've been seeing him drink some soda lately. So,
all right,
old habits are hard to kill. Yeah, he's very simple.
Justin Time does say it's been obvious that Jeff was going to go to AEW. It's honestly not if, but when is he going to? Yeah. The idea of Jeff going to AEW is not only not surprising, but it's so not surprising that it's not exciting. That when they say that, you just go, oh, he's going to do a thing with his brother again. I'll be honest, like, even when they were on the indies before they re-signed with WWE at that WrestleMania, it was the tail end of that run that got exciting and got people talking. There were years and years they were on the indies before then. It was just like, oh yeah, the Hardy Boys do shit still. And you go, oh, really? You know what I mean? Like, I just don't know what's going to happen in AEW. It's going to excite me when it comes to them. Like,
yeah, they had a phenomenal match with the Bucks at
sure, fucking
Ricardo
10 years
Honor
ago.
in Orlando. But
yeah, like fucking 10 years ago.
right before
Like,
the.
so I mean, and Matt Hardy's done nothing in AEW that's excited me to the point where I've thought, yes, let's add to this. You know what I mean? I just, I feel bummed because I feel like best case scenario, you're going to get a Hardy Boy tag team run that ends with them and the Young Bucks, and the Young Bucks go over because it's their company now, and you just go, oh.
No, I don't know about that.
I just don't see it going a different way. But I mean, it could, but
I'd like to see FTR job to them because let's face it, that's what they do.
That's true. Just in time to say Colt's a creature. What kind of creature is left? She said simple creature. Colt is a simple creature.
Very simple.
He likes what he likes. But yeah, so there was that. I think that's all I had for news-wise.
Just to let people know, a couple of reminders.
Go ahead.
Double or Nothing is coming. Mandalay Bay. I'm excited. It's Mandalay Bay. They have a great pool. So, I'll probably be trying to watch shirtless people. And
isn't it going to be in a smaller venue than the MGM?
No, it's the same size.
Same size? Okay.
Grand Garden Arena is, they're the same
Big
size.
Okay.
Yeah. I saw Justin Timberlake there. Yeah. So it's
very good.
Yeah. Pretty sizable. They are doing a live Dynamite on the Wednesday, a live Rampage on the Friday, and then of course Double or Nothing is Sunday. They'll probably do a fan fest.
Oh, do you think that's where Jeff debuts? That'll probably be good.
I see a couple of things happening, and this is just me. Remember, I'm not, I don't know anybody. I don't, I know people, but these are my predictions for that. I think that we're going to see Jeff. I think at Double or Nothing is going to be the implosion of Team Taz and Ricky Starks. That'll be that swan song for him there. He goes on his merry way.
In May?
Yeah.
That seems like a long time to still drag on Team Taz.
But
at the same time, they don't do anything anymore.
But remember, I don't think there was a pay-per-view between Revolution and Double or Nothing. Or I could be wrong.
That's true.
Yeah. So if there isn't, there's a great buildup right there.
Yeah.
I think we might see, I don't know, there's a lot of things, like especially with how this whole elite thing is going on. Maybe part of the original elite will be coming back. Who knows?
Could be.
I mean, I'm pro that. Only Marty. But yeah. Who knows? Those tickets go on sale next Friday.
All right.
Just so y'all know.
And you had news about Colt too, right?
Yes. Yeah, I was waiting. I'm saving that one for the last bit of news.
Oh, okay.
Tomorrow, Joey Janela spring break tickets go on sale for both shows. It will sell out. So if you are going to Dallas, that is the show you cannot miss. And trust me, I've missed it, and Janela bitched me out about it for an hour. I'm like, dude. And then when I had to show him how much the Uber and Lyft prices were, he goes, oh, I wouldn't want to fucking pay that. I go,
yeah. I got a friend who lives out in Texas, and I was like, how close are you to Dallas? She's like, close enough you should just stay in Dallas. Or like far away enough you should just stay in Dallas if that's what you're trying to do. And I was like, fuck. It's like a 4 or 5 hour drive or something where it's kind of like, I was like, there's a show in Dallas I might want to go to. Like, how close are you to Dallas? She goes, yeah, just get a hotel in Dallas.
Yeah. So yeah, the overinflated pricing.
Yeah.
And so yes, so that's coming up. I don't know about the other collective shows, but Janela Spring Break is the hot ticket.
That one. Also, Mission Pro Wrestling's got a collective show that's going to be that same week. That's going to be killer.
That's right.
And this weekend, Bloodsport. This weekend, GCW's got 3 shows happening. I'll be going to 2 of the shows. Friday, we have the return of X-Pac. Make some noise! X-Pac! You know what I mean? Yeah. He's going to be back in the ring, teaming up with your very own Joey Janela. You know what I was looking at, too? Out of all the merch I have on everything, I've got nothing of Janela. Because I was like, oh, I'm going to have people sign stuff. I've got literally not even like of... I've got a trading card of Juicy Fanu. I have nothing of Janela. But you don't have anything Joey Janela. So
we'll probably be selling the Macho Man shirt. I already have it. I wore it earlier this week.
I saw that shirt, yeah.
I cut it in a tank.
I don't like the Macho Man gimmick
no, shirt. No, the ones I like, my favorite Janela one, obviously, is the Raiders inspired one that he did. But also... as he's a smoker, or used to smoke, he still does. He smokes Marlboros, so he had a shirt that's a bad boy, and it was the Marlboro font and the whole. It's a great shirt. I love that one. Cool. And then the White Claw one.
Oh, so, that's funny.
That was from the summer of Janela.
But yeah, so we got Janela and X-Pac against the Major Bros. That same show, we got the Briscoes against Juicy and Jacob Fatu, and I'm going. There's a Saturday afternoon show that respectfully I was not interested in, respect to all the talent who are going to be there and putting their body on the line. None of them screamed to me is all. But there is a show on Saturday evening that is going to have Tony Deppen versus Thunder Rosa. And I'm going to go there to see Thunder Rosa. I'm going to get Thunder Rosa to sign my comic book drawing I did of her.
Nice.
It's going to be sweet. It's going to be sweet. I'm going to give her one of our shirts too. You think she'll ever wear it?
She will.
I said I'm gonna tell her you can cut this up into little bits and use it as a dish rag too. That's fine. Whatever you got to do. Yeah.
Or use it as your cleaning rag while you listen to us.
Oh yeah, perfect to dust with. You can wipe down the walls with it. Whatever. You
wax on, wax off.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The hubcaps on your car sometimes hard to get into like the crevices. This shirt's perfect for that. So.
Yeah, perfect for that.
Yeah.
So I hope
just cut the sleeves off and work out in it.
Yeah, I hope we get to see Sam Stackhouse in Janela's spring break. I'm pretty sure we will.
That's possible. I've asked him if he was going to be at this weekend show just because I was like, if you're going to be there, I want to know because I'll bring a Stackhouse shirt. I might just wear a Stackhouse shirt anyways just to be like, you guys should. You should. No, but
support those. Yeah.
He does say that he does think he's eventually going to make it out to some LA shows, and he'll tell me when those are going to be. It just doesn't sound like it's this weekend. So but
maybe it might be the LA San Francisco ones coming up.
That could be good.
Yeah.
So and then what else did you have? I just want to throw out the GCW stuff because I'm going to be there.
And then
look for me.
Yeah, and then my last bit of news, everybody, it really excited me. But today, a certain podcast came back, The Art of Wrestling by Colt Cabana. He told me he was not going to do it anymore, and a lot of it I think was the pandemic was part of it, and then he's been really enjoying being on Twitch and gaming, but it's back. And I think that it's very monumental in the fact that he is the godfather of modern independent wrestling. I don't care what people say, but he has a lot of influence. And I will say this, if it wasn't for that podcast, you would not be listening to me speak right now, because that's how I learned about the indies. And I learned a lot about the business from him and listening to him. So
yeah, I've only heard great things about that podcast he had before.
It's one of the best. It was the original wrestling one. I think Pritchard had a show with somebody, but it was a little different. But the long form interview, because he modeled it like after Mark Maron, who's one of his heroes. Yeah. So I know way too much, but anyways, so if you get a listen this week, it's Alex Reynolds of the Dark Order.
Oh, cool.
And so make sure you do that. There's a lot of really great ones to go back and listen to. The Cardona one from I think it's like episode 50 or 51 or something like that. That's a hilarious one. Yeah. Nice. It's great. Yeah.
That's crazy.
You can find it wherever
that means
you
he would have been interviewing Cardona while he was in WWE.
Because they're friends. They were in developmental, all of them.
Yeah. Because it's not always easy to get the WWE talent over there. Like there's a lot of people you got to talk to get to their talent.
I don't know. Well, remember, this was when the Woo 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 King was king. You know, he had his
King of the internet.
YouTube,
And
yeah,
it was
King of the
also before
Internet.
podcasts were much of a thing. So
Exactly.
that's true.
Yeah, because I know that with certain people, like when he did, I think when he did like Mox and when he did other people, that they had to get like permission and stuff. But with Cardona, he actually just showed up at. He was there for WWE event, so he just showed up to Colt Studio apartment in Chicago, Illinois. Yeah, I'm a nerd. Okay, but yes, check that out.
Yeah, no, that sounds dope. Let's see.
And yes, forgot to add this. And yes, if you go and listen to the catalog, if there's an Amanda he is referencing to, that would be me.
Oh, he would call you by name?
Yeah, he's name dropped me. He's name dropped me more than some wrestlers. Let's just go there.
That's
yeah.
Cool. Well, I don't got anything else. If you want to get into some of the shows. I was thinking, I watched Dynamite, so I thought we could talk about Dynamite, but something occurred to me, and it occurred to me like after the fact. Jay White had a match on Rampage.
Yes.
I didn't see a single clip or hear anybody peep a word about it. Was that match like not much to write home about?
Honestly, Rampage really doesn't get that much of a push anymore. I've noticed. So I don't know if it's just because it fell to the wayside.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of their fan base too does not even really know who Jay White is. Let's go there.
What's what I mean? Like, I thought this was going to be like his big, like, this is me kind of a deal. You know what I mean?
No, but he's going everywhere though. So he's part of that Forbidden Door bullshit. But we'll see what happens. And no, he is not leaving New Japan. And the reason why is they do not have Gaijin go into the Lion program in Japan, mind you, without being invested in them. So pretty much they own his soul.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah. Yeah.
So just so y'all know. So that's how that works. Now, a transplant like a Zack Sabre Jr. or Ocean Spray, different story. Jeff Cobb, totally different story. I mean, because Jay White went on an excursion, like how Naito went to Mexico, and was like around Roosh and all them people. Jay White did Ring of Honor, was his. And Sonata did something. I think Sonata did Impact, I think.
So was the match very good or no?
It was okay, but again, I forgot about it. And then I was like, oh God, Jay White was supposed to wrestle. So then I went back and watched. It was okay. Yeah. It was very, I don't want to say very Jay White-ish, but it's, he has a certain style and, you either like it or you don't, but, but I think that it's just that people don't really know who he is. That's a shame.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, yeah, I just thought it was weird because I was like, I didn't hear anything about it. I was like, oh, Jay White's going to be wrestling here. This is the whole deal. Everyone's like, this is amazing. This is everything that we've ever wanted. And then I didn't hear anybody talk about it. Yeah, so I was like,
probably.
It made me think I shouldn't go back and watch it. And so I didn't because I was like, well, if no one's talking about it, it couldn't have been that great.
Well,
and what a bummer to bring in somebody as incredible as Jay White, with someone with the amount of hype he's got even in New Japan, and have it be this kind of like, yeah, well, we got him because we kind of talked ourselves into and like, you know what I mean? Like, it just kind of makes Tony Khan look a little foolish. And it's a shame that it's with somebody like Jay White because he's so big. He should be a big deal when he comes through, and this felt like accidental.
Yeah. You know who I think is a big deal, and I'd love to see him on TV, but no one, unless you really watch New Japan, would know who the hell he is El Phantasmo. Oh, he's so good. Great heel. Love him to death. And his light up.
Isn't that Santos Escobar?
No.
Pretty sure he was El Fantasmo, yeah.
No, it's not a luchador. No, he's a guy from Canada. He won the Super J Cup twice.
Oh, sort of like El Fuego's from Alabama?
No, El Fantasmo really is from Canada. I want to say like
Fuego's really is from Alabama.
Oh, I know. But he's not a luchador. He's part of the Bullet Club. You see those shirts that say Headbang Club? That's it. Yeah.
All right. Well, was there anything on Rampage or the internet that was like really all that much to talk about, or should we just talk about Dynamite?
You know what? Not really. I mean, I think what's been going on is Dynamite's been the one that is reigning supreme. I will say this: I do like watching Serena Deeb's 5-minute challenge. I think that's a good addition to have on there.
I've heard that's been cool.
Yeah, it gives lesser known talent the opportunity to work on TV, but it also gives the audience, I feel like, that's like wrestling. That is like what good women's wrestling should be. That's one of the facets of what it should look like.
Yeah.
So
all right.
So that's always worth watch.
Well, yeah.
So Dynamite. Did you watch the whole thing?
I did. I put on the whole thing.
Okay.
I don't think
What's
it was all
your
worth
feeling?
watching, but it was decent. It was a decent show overall.
Well, because last week we were like, hey, it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
This week I felt the same vibe. Although I could do without
Well, I will say this. There was more this week there was stuff in this week that was very bad. But there was a lot around that was pretty decent. And last week I felt like nothing was very bad the way that some of this was. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those. I mean, I think just have some people who they're shotgunning and it might be too much too fast or something. But yeah, I mean, opened up with the Battle Royal, which was what it was, and
that was messy.
Yeah,
that was very messy.
So it's kind of like, just keep it.
Yeah, but that one was really messy.
Yeah. And even the aftermath I thought was kind of messy with Paige coming out, storming the ring, and coming after Red Dragon, and Adam Cole comes out.
And then the Bucks are like, oh.
Yeah, the Bucks are kind of like, yeah. It was.
Yeah. That was weird. That's the only reason why I think Double or Nothing, the original, most of the Elite is going to come back together.
Could be. I think also Paige's promo afterwards, too, was fine. I didn't think that Cole and Red Dragon needed to be yelling back at every sentence as much as they were.
Bobby Fish makes me laugh, though. Bobby Fish was great. I'm like, oh my God, Bobby.
Like, I didn't mind them talking back, but I didn't feel like they were giving it room to breathe either. Like, you were almost talking over Paige at times, and it's just kind of like, just give a little space and say what you're going to say. And, you know what I mean? Like, I think it was just a little cluttery than it needed to be, but that could just be me.
Yeah. But I did enjoy that.
Yeah.
I guess just because it was neat. Am I surprised that Red Dragon won? No.
I thought that was the point from the beginning. At no point did I think anyone else was going to win.
Maybe FTR, but even then, that was a shot in the dark.
Yeah, it was unlikely because I think they already had a match. Plus, at the same time, they're putting this match together to not utilize their ranking system. So you had to find somebody that wasn't top of the ranking, and it would have been Red Dragon is the hot tag team that's not ranked very well. So you kind of go, okay, well, then they're going to win it because they want to get to that match faster than
Why do you even have a ranking system? I know we hate that ranking system.
Well,
so stupid.
That's why they put these matches in there, because their ranking system is like forgotten about until suddenly it's in their way, and they go, okay, well, let's do a battle royal, a ladder match, whatever it takes. Like, that's what it was. So yeah, going into it, you go, oh, who's not ranked number one that they clearly want to see in the tag title match? Oh, Red Dragon. It was pretty easy to move that along.
I wonder, does Tony sniff glue or those Mr. Cento markers when he's booking these shows? Because sometimes I'm just like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? You got to be high. You got to be on something.
It's discombobulated at times, yeah, for sure.
Or those outliner markers.
I do think it was good they had Daniel Bryan come out and cut a promo before his main event match to kind of like tell people like, look, I'm fired up and you should come watch it. So I thought that was good.
Oh, yeah.
But after that, we had the MJF come out and cut a promo. Banana, banana, banana. What did you think about this promo?
I'm puzzled. It's just like Punk was. It's like, is that real?
Mm-hmm.
Is it bullshit? Because like when he came out at first, you could see in his eyes, he had tears in his eyes before he even started saying anything.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah.
Jeremy and Time, quick before we get into this, he says the Acclaimed is number 1 in the tag rankings and weren't even in the Battle Royal. That's the point. That's why they do the Battle Royals, to get around the number 1 in their ranking. So you have to just figure out who's the hot tag team they want to see in a tag title match, but have no reason or right to be there, and you can figure out who's going to win right away. But yeah, MJF comes out, tears already welling. I fucking loved this promo, man. This is what I've been saying about MJF versus what he's capable of versus what he always does, and there's a difference. Because a lot of times he comes out and does cheap heat stuff where he's like, hey, everyone's a hillbilly, I slept with your mom.
Yeah.
And you just go, okay. And he does just like generic street level shit talk that you'd hear at any given bar. Nothing's all that revealing or not much to write home about most of the time. But then he taps into something like this. And the other one that he had that I ended up watching like twice, where he talked shit on right before CM Punk's hometown match where he beat him twice in his hometown. I thought this was fantastic because I'm telling you, MJF's character in this is not only
amazing.
Is not only relatable, but he's literally like right on par with guys like me and Kev and what we've been saying about Punk for years. Like turning your back on fans has just as much of an impact as being there for your fans and stuff. And we haven't been all that. We didn't get we weren't fawning over CM Punk before he left. So when he left, it was what it was. But the idea that people were still chanting CM Punk for years and years later would annoy guys like me and Kev and say, fuck, dude, he turned his back on you. Like, quit chanting for him when you're bored because he doesn't give a fuck. I like that MJF took that mentality because we can't be the only two who feel that way. Taking that mentality and twisting it into his sort of evil origin story is fucking fantastic. I thought it was because it came from a narrative that's possible. It's realistic. You know what I mean? Justin Time says, fantastic promo, but I think it's a ruse to lower Punk's guard. I don't know if it is or isn't. I kind of don't know that it matters, to be realistic. Like, at the same time, though, how can CM Punk win the match after that and not look kind of like a dick? You know what I mean?
Well, my issue is that, you know, you have another obvious Jewish person on your roster. And I don't know. I mean, it could be, if he's doing it in kind of an evil way, it could be a bad thing, you know? I mean, I don't know. Colt doesn't push that like MJF does, but you have to wonder, you know?
Wonder what? Like, why he's
well,
not
just
in a
wonder
tag
if
team
it's
with
like
another Jewish guy? Like, I just don't understand why.
No. If it's real or not, and all this stuff about the whole Jew boy and all that other stuff.
Yeah,
because that's a heavy topic to bring in.
Yeah.
You know, racism, a very heavy topic. So,
yeah, absolutely. And why not? Yeah. When he's saying that he's dealing with anti-Semitism growing up, and what an amazing parallel to make it, where it's all like, I'm dealing with anti-Semitism and being bullied as a kid, and I looked up to wrestling the way that a lot of people look over to wrestling as their escape, as their inspiration. And in that, the person he latched onto vanished. So in his struggles dealing with adversity, and finding someone to latch onto and draw inspiration from, that person turns his back and walks away. What happens then? You know what I mean? Like, it's not the John Cena who kind of disappears to do Make-A-Wish and shows up in Hollywood, or like The Rock, where they're always kind of around, where they have this like ending that's kind of poetic, like a Steve Austin. It's just kind of like, no, here's somebody who like left the business, talked shit on the business, and talked shit about everything that he did there. And all he did for years after was talk shit about the wrestling. So it's almost like, look, a lot of people escaped what they're dealing with in real life through wrestling, and you're tearing that apart, and you used to be the guy that they looked at for that. So it's not a huge stretch to say that this mentality couldn't have such a negative impact on a guy like an MJF character, where he just becomes an asshole and has to fight through everything because that one dude turned his back the way that he did. Like, I thought it was a really fucking smart way to tie that all together in a way where, to me, Justin Time says MJF definitely made Punk look like the bad guy. I've been saying this from the beginning. He's a heel in my house. I boo the shit out of him. MJF, I've been cheering this whole time. I've been cheering every time MJF's having a segment with CM Punk, and I'll be like, MJF's right. Like, I like that they're showing a consequence to it. And I even thought, like, CM Punk coming out at the end, CM Punk looked like a dick in that too, because he's rushing the ring with his fucking fist clenched. And he's all like, is that true? Is what you're saying true? Like, calling him a liar while MJF's like crying. And MJF says, yeah, it's true. And then rolls out of the ring and the crowd boos. And it was nuts. I thought it was really well put together.
It was. I'm still hashtag Team Cabana, so I'm not cheering for CM Punk regardless.
No, CM Punk can.
Fuck him. Go. But yes, he turned his back on a lot of people when he left.
Yeah.
Not going into that. So.
Yeah, but even the fan base, like, yeah. The whole fan base chanting for CM Punk, and the whole time I was all like, dude, he doesn't give a shit about you guys. Like, give it a rest. Like, I like that MJF took that mentality and guys like us and turned it into an evil origin story, and incredibly well done. The way he was crying, the way he did the whole thing, I thought it was great. And at no point did I go, CM Punk should win this. I was like, no, CM Punk needs to get his comeuppance. He needs to lose again. He needs to keep losing.
No, you need the other one to beat him.
I don't care. Keep beating the shit out of Punk. He can take a lot of losses for the rest of his career, and I'll be fine. I don't need to see CM Punk win.
The biggest loss he needs to take is the one. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I hope before I die. But who
knows?
I know it's gonna happen because
it'll never happen.
It will.
It's not happening.
I got Marty versus Colt, and everyone said no, sweetheart. If you want that, you're gonna have to pay them.
Yeah, but you already said Colt's going back to podcasting. He's not trying to wrestle Punk. But
oh no, he.
Yeah. Spin Fox comes through. He says hi. He goes, holy shit, Marsh had something good to say about AEW. I'm shocked. Is that why it snowed today? And he goes, Amanda is still on this Colt thing. Why? Because the roster have them together. Yeah, you're like obsessed with it just because they happen to be in the same company and they hate each other and they're not going to wrestle. It's not happening.
No, I've always wanted this.
Yeah, and I'm telling you right now that Colt is going back to podcasting because CM Punk's not going to wrestle him.
No, well, Colt always did that. Hello, excuse me. It's one of his many streams of income. So come on.
That's a good point.
He's on the free money train from Tony Khan. Okay.
Yeah, he is. He's getting them stacks.
Getting them stacks.
Yeah, they're right by each other, he says. Yeah. So that whole segment I thought was done really well, and I thought 100% MJF is the good guy here. CM Punk needs to go down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I know Justin thinks it's a ruse, but I think what makes this so clever is ruse or otherwise, it's believable enough to where like CM Punk has to ask, is this real? Because the CM Punk character and person theoretically would never have considered that it's possible that he could have had a negative impact on fans that loved him either. So the idea of ruse or otherwise doesn't take away from the legitimacy of the potential heart of the story, you know? Yep. Spin Fox in the chat says, don't know if it's true, but Cesaro is now a free agent. Interesting. It's how we open the show, man. You're an hour late for that conversation. Anything else you want to say about MJF and CM Punk?
I just thought it was very a well done, put together promo, and I'm glad none of those idiots came out with him.
Yep. I'm also really glad. A lot of people were saying that they were expecting a turn at the end or some sort of wink to the camera type deal with MJF, and that never happened. They were like waiting for the other shoe to drop kind of a deal. I'm so glad that they didn't go that route. That they didn't make it campy at the end and be all like, but I'm and like fuck yeah, no, let it simmer the way that it simmered. You know,
the way it did.
That was great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Just
it was
real
excellent.
good.
Yeah, really excellent.
What do you think of Kings of Black versus Pac and Penta? And towards the end, you have the sudden lights going out. I like Jim Ross's response to, "Oh, here we go again with the lights go off and they come back on again." And here's all like, "Yeah, Jim Ross." He goes, "What's going on around here?"
I'm loving JR.
Oh,
lately.
JR makes me smile. JR more than anybody in all of AEW consistently makes me smile. Buddy Murphy shows up. Yeah. He's over a lot of the stuff where he just goes, "Oh, this is what we're doing now." Buddy Murphy comes out, has a little bit of a beatdown segment that kind of goes on for twice as long as the match, it seemed like. But he joined House of Black. What do you think about all this? Splinter Fox does say MJF could be a movie star crying on the spot. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we'll see why not. Splinter Fox says, I like Buddy in AEW, but the finish didn't make any sense. I'll be honest with you. I didn't think a lot of the presentation of that match made sense to begin with. The Penta Oscuro, I was only kind of in on, but I thought that the overly dramatic stuff with the shovel and the tombstone, I was kind of like, I don't think I need this much. The match itself was a little bit weird and sloppy. I think a tag happened with somebody on the outside of the ring, if I'm not mistaken. But it was, it was kind of a lot. But at the end of the day, the whole thing was set up to get Buddy in the House of Black. What did you think of it all, Amanda?
Well, there's a couple things that I had issue with. I don't think that their crowd is savvy enough to understand the whole Pentagon Obscura. I mean, I don't know. Because it's something that's just, not a common thing. And I also think that, we didn't need Alex Abrahantes dressing like, I don't know, the Grim Reaper from the Bill and Ted movie, the second one.
You know what? You're right on that. I wonder if that was the thing that set me off from it to begin with, was just that the manager was suddenly in face paint and a fucking cape. So it wasn't like your wrestler turned bad. It was like everyone's been infected with evil in some weird way. Like,
yeah,
it became super Halloweenish when the manager was dressed up suddenly with face paint, and I was kind of, what the fuck? I know that's 100% it. If he wasn't dressed up that way, I think you're right. I think I would have bought more into it.
Yeah, because it's like, come on. I don't know if I don't know, but that was the first thing I noticed. I didn't even really look at the grave or anything, but when I saw Alex Abrahantes like that, I was like, what the fuck is this bush league gun or whatever? Because I don't think that, if I'm remembering correctly from Lucha Underground, I was trying to remember if there was some all of that kind of shit. But honestly, I don't think there was.
I don't think it was that much of a show in the entrance. And maybe, I think probably the other reason it was a little like, I don't know, it was because you had the House of Black entrance right before it. Like, it just seemed like kind of a lot all of a sudden. And then Splinter Fox says, but if it was Taker, you would have loved it. Maybe, but it also wouldn't have been Taker versus Taker. And his manager wouldn't also been dressed up like Taker. And also, it wouldn't feel like someone's trying to knock off Taker. You know what I mean? It's like, it was just a bit of a lot. Like, I mean, Undertaker and Kane kind of had their own thing. They started off in a program together, but they were doing stuff a bit. I mean, you guess had Paul Bear, but that was also fucking 30 years ago. Yeah, At this point, they're doing it. It just feels like they're trying to be the Undertaker. Maybe.
I don't know.
the manager offset it, and I think it was too close to House of Black. So I think for me, I was kind of like, okay, a lot of show. But it wasn't bad. Just, I was ready for the match to start by the time it started, you know, like, we just do it.
And it really wasn't Pentagon Dark either. I mean, I know they can't use the name, but it really didn't have that feeling.
Yeah, I felt like it was still
Like
the
it
same
was.
Penta. Yeah.
Mhm.
But, I don't
But
know.
you had
Penta and Pac as a
fight.
tag team, I'm not solely sold on either, to be honest. I know they're Death Triangle, everyone loves them, but I just
Pac,
think
no.
Penta's a better single star than he is a tag star, if I'm being honest. Because Penta,
Exactly.
at least in America, Penta still follows all the lucha rules, which are very different from American tag team stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get lost in the match so fast where I just think we're doing a whole lot of synchronized wrestling and nothing looks like combat at all with Penta. And I think when he's in a singles match, I think it comes off different. He's not allowed to just fly around and leave and come back without some sort of something anchoring it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
Spinner Fox,
I do prefer him as a singles.
yeah, I think I've always enjoyed him as a singles more. I think when I saw he was tagging with his brother Phoenix, I was like, this will be cool, and I didn't like it at all. And I was like, oh. But every time I've seen him in a singles match, I've really enjoyed the match. Spinner Fox says Phoenix going to turn evil too. I mean, he's kind of left out. I bet Phoenix injury caused a ripple in the plans. Yeah, that's probably true. I don't know why Phoenix wouldn't be evil if his manager turned evil. Why wouldn't his brother? You know?
Just don't show up in face paint underneath your mask, Phoenix,
Nah, do it.
or some weird cape.
Yeah, do it.
Maybe
Weird
they
cape.
can ask Evil where he got his sickle from.
Yeah, that guy should have still come out in a suit. He shouldn't have had that weird costume. And if he was gonna do his makeup at all, it should have just been like some creepy eye makeup. It shouldn't have been a whole fucking pale Grim Reaper thing. The manager offset me. I think that's what it is. The manager would piss me off.
Yeah,
And
and
then-
also, it looked like someone had gone to Spirit Halloween stores
Yes.
the day after Halloween, and this stuff was on mega clearance.
Yeah.
And they just bought it because they're like, hey, we might want to use this sometime.
Yeah, that's what it came off with the manager. I think with the wrestlers it had been fine, but then also when Aleister Black goes to use the fucking shovel, like he's gonna murder a guy with a shovel, I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
It's
No,
so I do think the single worst gimmick in all of wrestling right now is Drew McIntyre swinging a sword around at people, but also trying to stab someone with a shovel is like. They're gunning for that spot. Like, just let's not use a shovel like it's a fucking sick. Like he was about to drive it down into his chest. Let's not pretend we're murdering. That's why I don't like the sword. It with Drew. I'm like, you're not trying to cut off Baron Corbin's head. It's just drop it. Don't fuck like
Damn
the
it.
attempted murder thing is like, come on. Spinner Fox says
love
Ray
Gren
never
Afton.
had an evil personality. Well, neither did the goddamn manager. Yeah, Alex. He said Alex should have just stayed how he was dressed. It would have worked still. 100%. That's what I mean.
Yeah. It was like,
Yeah, just come out in a suit and maybe do dramatic eye makeup or some shit, and you go, oh, it's an evil version. But like, yeah, he had a whole fucking getup, man. Crypt Keeper. Spinner Fox said, or Justin says to Spinner Fox that in Lucha Underground, Ray Phoenix had an evil personality. That could be. I liked Lucha Underground. It was pretty cool.
yeah, it was pretty cool.
But it's cool that they're together. I know a lot of people were excited about Buddy Matthews and Malachi Black being in the same company because of their matches against each other. But they're teaming up right away. What do you think about that?
Well, you got to think of the landscape of AEW. And I'm not surprised because they like factions.
Yeah.
And not only that too, but where is there in the timeline?
We got cherry lime.
All right, we're on that. And you put your red shit in it too?
Yeah. Yep, it's pink. It's
All
red.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, look, it's orange. Whatever. Anyways, no, so I think that there's no, because even Aleister Black, where the hell are you going to put him in a singles thing? Because there's nobody right now. Like, it would be weird if you had cowboy shit and then this weird Aleister Black thing, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think that it would flow right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's where I'm kind of like, but I'm not surprised at all. Not surprised. But it makes me wonder, are they really going to start maybe doing trios because they have so many people on the roster?
And that's been a rumor for a while that they were going to have a trio title.
Mm-hmm.
That could work.
Yeah. So who knows with that?
Yeah. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's going to be another member. I feel like the House of Black's not done.
Nope. There's one member I'd love for it to be, but it's not going to happen, I don't think.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
PCO?
No. No.
Let's see. Spring Fox says Julia. He says Inner Circle's dead. I mean, should be. I don't think it is. But that does bring us to the next segment. Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho. What did you think of this promo segment?
Fucking Eddie Kingston.
Yeah.
God, Eddie needed this, to be honest with you. I felt that this is the strongest we've ever seen Eddie. And I think that all this bullshit that he's had to go through and basically making him look like a chump, I think was worth it for what came out.
Maybe.
With the promo.
I will say the amount of times that Eddie Kingston tried to say, this isn't a sports entertainment company. We don't do sports entertainment. If you want sports entertainment, go somewhere else. This is pro wrestling, and here we do pro wrestling. Saying this in a segment completely following Penta Oscuro coming out with the Grim Reaper Party City with that entrance and House of Black doing their sports entertainment lights on, lights off stuff. Like, it's just starting to become silly when you are trying to brand yourself so heavily against sports entertainment when you're clearly doing sports entertainment. And when that's so much of Eddie's promo. And it's a couple times that he's brought it up where I just kind of think like, I don't think it's the dig you think it is. And I think that it just makes you look like you're not aware of what's happening minutes before you come out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a little weird where it's just like, okay, the rest of all of it was really good. It was awesome. But every time he was all like, this isn't sports entertainment. I'm like, I just saw it. Like there was steam and red lights for this dude. We had the lights turn off and on and people vanished and appeared and like there's supernatural sports entertainment shit happening on the same show and that's fine. But you can't come out 2 minutes later and say, we don't do any of that. You just did.
And then also, to be fair, Chris coming out to Judas like that, which again, last night proved to me when they were showing the crowd, not everybody knows the words.
I don't know.
Can we stop this nonsense, please?
Yeah, I can go.
Eddie, that's sports entertainment there too.
Yeah.
Because people like live for doing that. And I'm like, no. No.
But I did think the promo back and forth otherwise was really good. And there were moments where I was kind of like, there's moments where it was easy to get lost in it. I thought they both did awesome, which is something because it's been a while since I thought Jericho had a really good promo. And I thought that his presentation here was fantastic. I also thought Chris Jericho's in the best shape since he showed up.
Yep.
It looks like he's cut down a lot of weight. And it looks like he's bulking up too. And it makes me wonder two things. One, Splinter Fox says Eddie win 100% of the pay-per-view as long as he doesn't get injured. Do you think... Oh, wait, and here's the other thing. Splinter Fox says, to me, they need to stop taking jabs at New York. It's getting boring, and they don't need to talking about them anymore. They have the fans' attention. Yeah, and I also think that a jab here and there isn't so bad, but it was just so much in this one promo. You know what I mean? Like, I don't mind if every now and again it's all like, especially here, right? You got Jericho who can say, I've made it to the big leagues, and you can have Eddie take a shot at the big leagues real quick and move on, right? But it was just so much of like, so much, you know, where you're just kind of going like, look, at this point, you're kind of beating a dead horse. It's not necessary, right? You're kind of saying a thing that's not shocking anymore. So yeah, I don't mind a jab here and there. It just was a lot, and it was a lot. The way he did it was a little. It just seemed out of left field after we just saw a sports entertainment entrance. So much so that Splinter Fox said it was like the Undertaker's entrance. So yeah, it's sports entertainment, you know. So I have this question for you, Amanda. Sorry. Is Jericho training to go back to WWE, and this is his swan song where he's going to put over Eddie on his way out? Or is Jericho leveraging a potential return to make a bunch more money, and the proof being, I'm in WWE shape right now. I can go there today. Where if 6 months ago, if he said, I'm going to go back, you could have taken one look at him and said, you're not going back. You know what I mean? They're not going to take you like that. He's training and training. Spin Fox's contract is up after this year. Yeah, I wonder if he's getting ready to negotiate a new contract, and if he's trying to get more money out of Tony, or if he's actually trying to leverage WWE. What do you think?
Well, he looked like shit on the cruise. That was the end of October. You know? So, I think two things. I think he probably is going to go back for one more big payday under the sun over there. Mm-hmm. I mean, who could blame him? Right?
Can you imagine a Jericho Cody program in WWE now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that could be big business.
Mm-hmm. And you never know. So I think that's kind of what that's what we're kind of alluding to. But I know he's got to be touring with Fozzy because, you know, I think that we're not going to see him for a while after this. That's my thoughts on that. And Eddie needs this win. If there's ever a need for Eddie Kingston to have a win, it's against Chris Jericho. And this is going to be what gives him that credibility again. People will forget about the sparklers and all that weird shit with Mox. They'll forget all of that because he stuck it to Jericho, and it was great. So
yeah,
that's what.
And here's the other thing. Here's what I'm concerned about.
Mm-hmm.
Kingston dug a lot in on Jericho, and even then, I think I agree with a lot of people who said he could have got a lot harder on Jericho than he did.
Mm-hmm.
But Jericho was really talking major shit about the overall existence of Eddie and Eddie being a failure. You're kind of in a spot now where Eddie has to win this match, but Jericho wins all of his feuds because he's Chris Jericho. What happens if Jericho wins here? You know what I mean? And that's the thing with Kingston. Kingston takes a lot of losses because he can stand to lose, and his credibility will still be intact even if he loses, all that shit. I don't see Kingston losing this and it not taking a toll in some way. But at the same time, this fan base is a little bit weird where that people will go, that sucks, Jericho beat him, you know, that they did. Like, there's a smart fan base in that they know it was booked a certain way, right? They go, the booker did that was shitty, but let's not take it out on Eddie. We still love Eddie. They'll still support him. So you almost feel like they could do the loss, but in storylines, at a certain point, Eddie's getting punked the fuck out. Like, he has to win this, I think.
Eddie is like the Rodney Dangerfield of AEW.
Yeah.
That's all I can say about with him is that's what he feels like. And it's like no fault of his own, you know, but it's bad. And, you know, that's one of the things. He's beloved by people, but there's only so much that his AEW run has done. And to be honest, if you were to ask me, like, you know, what were your favorite moments of Eddie Kingston's run in AEW so far?
Yeah.
Well, the fact that he oversold sparklers going off, that'd probably be the number one thing. You know? And it's sad because if that's what you're looking at, then
yeah, there's not a lot of matches you can point to right now. I don't know.
No, I can't. I can't point to anything at all. He should.
In the chat, we have ROM or ROM. He goes, I thought the Jericho Kingston promo suffered, especially being in the same night as the Punk MJF promo. I don't know. Like, okay, so I guess if I were to pull back a little bit, if this promo was on a different night, like if it was on, say, last week, it might have stood out more, and more people might be like, "This is the fucking promo." Where being in the same night as MJF's incredible promo, it might not be getting the attention that Rom is saying it deserves, and I could understand that argument. But I actually felt like these are two of my favorite segments of the whole night, was MJF in this one, where I thought like, okay, let's see what we're doing here. I don't know that I felt like it suffered in that way. It didn't come off less than in that way. I thought, wow, we got two fucking great promo segments. And I don't feel like we always get that.
You got a third too, little snippet. We'll get into that.
Oh yeah, we got a little shot in the arm. So, but I could see where if it had been in a show that was otherwise not as strong in the promos, this could have got a lot more highlighting. So I would give that argument a little bit of credence, but I think overall I don't think that it also had enough room to breathe. You had stuff in between that was enough to kind of get you back ready for it. So I feel like that was okay personally.
The security was weird.
The security was funny. And those awful purple shoes.
Yeah.
So
what was worse, Alex Abrahantes as the Grim Reaper or Jericho's purple shoes?
Probably
They're
Alex dressed up like the fucking Crypt Keeper was pretty fucking bad. Spinner Fox does say AEW was made for younger talent. They will all leave. Brian, Miro, Mox, but AEW better if they survive. Bring up younger talent. Stardust gave the rub to Darby and Sammy. Yeah, I mean, I think I'd like to see more stuff like that, but like, even look at the way that the show is booked. You had Hangman Page in the first, like, after the first match, but before the second hour, like, he was kind of in a super mid-card spot. He cut this promo with dudes that was kind of goofy, and then you had these things with, I mean, if you just even fast forward to Daniel Bryan versus Mox, the crowd is chanting, holy shit, and this is awesome, and it's just two guys who used to fight about the Intercontinental Championship staring at each other for a second, and I was like, I don't know. It's hard to argue that the AEW crowd isn't ready for big stars now, and AEW has not done the best job of getting their younger talent like that to feel as important as those guys have been able to feel. But maybe that's an argument for a different part of the show. But I know what you mean, and I don't disagree. I'd like to see more of those guys get a bigger deal. And then Spinner Fox says, I love that at the end of the segment, they didn't end up fighting like the promos they always do. Yeah, I like that actually both of those promos, Punk and MJF and this one, didn't end up with some big schmaz. And
no, it was a good. They were great.
Yeah.
They're both good endings. But I think that this, kind of to feed off of what you were saying, Marsh, is I think that the MJF promo, this is the kind of shit that they should be doing when you're developing those young people. Like you're getting the who's and what's and whatnot. So I think that they do, but they just don't know what spots to do it in.
Do you think because CM Punk has got his head so far up his own ass that he thinks he's the greatest person in the world, do you think that he wins against MJF and does the fucking Ric Flair, I'm sorry, I love you, and then finishes off MJF?
Could be.
I could see him doing a cover shot. He does only cover matches at this point, so I wonder what match he's going to pick for this one.
Yeah. But, I could see that.
I'd actually like MJF crying as he's just beating the shit out of CM Punk and wins the match just in a ground and pound.
That'd be great. Or the other thing is, Splinter Fox is going to be Amanda's obsessed with this. No. That, he's like, Punk beats him and the whole thing. And it's like somebody comes out and calls him on his bullshit. That'd be the best thing ever. I would fucking, yeah. But that's just me. I don't write this shit. But if it does happen, you heard it here in episode 1.
No, it's true. Cinephox does ask, now with Stardust gone, do you think that the show's more well-rounded? The last 4 shows I've enjoyed more than usual. I don't think it's a direct correlation. I don't.
No.
Just because he was gone for months at a time anyways, and the shows when he was gone wasn't very good then either. I just think that there's certain stories that are just in motion that are better stories to be in motion. I think that they're just It's like fucking the booking of that show is watching fucking Bambi learn how to walk. You know what I mean? It's just all over the goddamn place. And I think that right now they have like 3 major stories where they just kind of push the ball down the hill and it's doing what it's doing. But
Sorry.
the real tell is going to be after this pay-per-view what happens, because the build to this pay-per-view is already rolling. What are they going to be able to do with it after the fact? That's when you're really going to start seeing the lack of Cody presence, I think, having an impact most immediately. But like right now, no. I mean, they weren't doing shit with either of them right now anyways. They both were like in between programs, except for Brandy talking shit on Paige Van Zant, which now we are going to miss that classic.
Mm-hmm. You'll notice we don't see like the men of the year really at all. We haven't in 2 weeks. So obviously that's like dead in the water. So, got to revamp that kind of shit. But is it better that we're doing that? Yeah, absolutely. Because that was just boring TV.
Yeah, let's see. As we wrap up Kingston Jericho, though, I think Kingston has to win, and there's a big part of me that thinks that Jericho's going to win. Mm-hmm. And then Jericho will shake the hand of Eddie Kingston like that makes it all okay now. You know what I mean? Because that happens a lot. You see a dude crush another dude in a storyline that really is not good for that person to lose, and then they shake the hand out of respect and they go, "Oh, see, oh, he got it all. Oh, he got the handshake." Like, no, but he needed the win. That's what I feel like is going to happen. It's going to end in a handshake that's going to make me pissed.
No, I think he's going to get the win. And also, if Jericho is entertaining going back to WWE, a loss, because usually people will lose if you're going somewhere. That's going to be a telltale sign, too.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we'll see him for a while. So. But then again, I don't know. I don't do their schedules, so I don't know.
Who knows? Let's get towards the end here of the AEW stuff. You did have 10 versus Ricky Starks. You want to say anything about that?
I do.
Wait, right before you do, Spinner Fox does say they've done great talent, but left behind the signing of so much talent. Yeah, it's a little bit of a mess. Oh, he also says that Colt needs to get fit if he's going to be in a match with Punk. That's the only way he sees it happening.
Hey, Phil's not that fit. Okay, first of all, let me go there. Okay, Colt's always had dad bod. Okay, Colt has not been really, really fit since I want to say 2014, 2015. Yeah, he went on the fitness kick, but then he looked too skinny.
Yeah,
and he looked like he wasn't eating.
He's got a big head.
Yeah, he's a big head. Yeah, but
that's why he's got to be stocky. Makes it fit.
But that's why he wears a singlet. He doesn't wear trunks.
That's fine.
Only time he wears trunks is and
me too.
He has Matt
I
Classic.
wear a singlet to bed.
And he wears high
get it.
waisted trunks. So, but if you have Colt flex his arms and everything, because he has skinny legs, and his traps. Oh my God, his traps.
Oh yeah, he's got big
best
traps.
around. Yeah, got really good from here.
He does say men of the year finish unless they get Gosh in and have Paige turn on Sky and make Sky a face. I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
Goes, how Jericho keeps saying he's not going makes me want to believe he is leaving. At this point, I could really see either way. I could see him leveraging more money out of Tony for sure. I mean, especially because I could see him being like, "Look, I'm your first champion. Do you really want your champion going back to WWE and shitting on your company? Because I can do it." You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying he says it like that, but I'm saying like, the sentiment kind of like, "Hey, I'm a big deal, and look I'm in shape. I could jump over. I could be at WrestleMania tomorrow." Like, I don't know. I think Jericho's going to be interesting to watch for the next 6 months to a year for sure. And he also says, "I'm sorry, Colt wants it bad enough. He will do what it takes to get the match. All Ego did it. Colt could get the Jags personal trainers and get the job done." He just wants to see a jacked up Colt, man. He wants to see Colt coming out looking like Wardlow. Just go.
No. Okay. First of all, no. Okay, then I'll have to post a picture of when Colt looked fit. Okay, you be the judge. But I will say, the guy is what now? He's 42, 43 years old.
And he's making that pro wrestling tees money. He's good.
He's making a lot of money, you know. And
match.
yeah, he doesn't work out as hard as he used to, you know. I mean, he doesn't have to.
He shouldn't.
You know, and he shouldn't, you know. I mean, because, you know, his style of wrestling, I mean, shit, look at the people who did that kind of world of sport wrestling over in, you know, the UK. They weren't small people. But I will say this. Colt was always the better wrestler. Punk's even said it before. Like, when they were, you know, hitting the roads, doing their thing, everybody always was like, Colt's better. And I don't know, maybe that in Punk's mind, he thinks that, but, you know, whatever. Because Colt's just like, whatever. See, I told you, simple. He's a simple person. Yeah. But yeah, no, he will not get fit for that. No way. And if he does, damn, I'm gonna have to beat bitches out of the way. I'm like, Colt, where's this Colt coming from? My heart, be still. Anyways.
So what do you think about 10 versus Ricky Starks?
You know, I honestly was I went into this match like, man, you know, everybody so far who's in this match, the the Face of the Revolution match, they're all hosses pretty much. You know, Wardlow, Keith Lee, and Hobbs, and who was the other one? No, there wasn't another one yet.
Wardlow. No, just those three.
Yeah.
And I thought we were going to get 10 in it because he's a big dude, but...
Yeah, 10's a big dude, you know?
Yeah.
And so it was really interesting how Ricky is such a character wrestler. I mean, that I really kind of love that in the... Not just the pose, but the over-exaggeration of some of the moves.
He's got a little bit of a Ricochet-ness to him, yeah.
Yeah. But Ricochet also does shit that Ricky doesn't do, and Ricochet is probably 4 times, 5 times a better wrestler than Ricky. Let's go there.
Yeah, but he's also exaggerating. Anyway. Ricochet gets hit in the fucking jaw, and he's like, and like goes down like a bowling pin, and you're just like, the fuck,
yeah,
dude, that's crazy. And I'm saying there's a little bit of that to Ricky. Oh yeah, I love it. Yeah. And Ricochet Ricky will do stuff kind of like that too, where he takes a hit and goes down in such a way that you just kind of. Dude, Ricochet crumbles like he's gonna he'll crumble in half in such a way that it's both those dudes sell great. They both sell so great.
Yeah, they do. But also, I was very excited in the fact that
just dies. They just kill.
We also didn't have, we didn't have a lot of interference.
Oh yeah,
from Hobbs. You know, that was kind of nice to have that. So, you know. It's going to be very interesting. So, am I surprised at the win? Yeah, I am. Because I thought it was going to be a hoss.
That the fact that Ricky is in the ladder match and he's the smallest motherfucker in this match by a lot, do you think that's teasing him winning it? That these big dudes are going to have a hard time getting up ladders and moving, and he's just going to climb up the back of somebody and snatch it up? Because the match is for a title match, right?
I think so.
So Ricky versus Paige? You don't want to redo that? You know what I mean? Like,
no. I'm sure he doesn't want to do that because, you know.
Because he broke his neck? But, I mean, he's got a
broke
floppy
his neck.
You know who didn't break their neck was Moss Riddick. Madcap Moss took a fucking straight down head hit in an Alabama slam from Drew McIntyre. He whips him. He tucks his head forward, crushes his whole neck, and everyone went, oh my God, he's dead. Dude popped up like 10 seconds later and was running. Apparently they did scans and then there was nothing at all. But that dude's neck, as soon as I saw it and he came back up, people were like, how is he still wrestling? I was just like, well, his neck looks like a fucking tire. Like, it's just so much muscle on that neck. Ricky doesn't have a neck like that. Tell Ricky he's got to work out his neck to get that unbreakable neck thing. That, you know, those traps that go up to your ears. He's got to do that.
Yeah, well, no, he was working on other things. But, you know, whatever. Also, speaking of that stuff. Like, when I saw Hiromu Takahashi at New Japan, when they were in San Francisco at the Cow Palace, when he got injured in that match, I honestly thought he was dead. He did not move for a good 2 minutes. He didn't he popped back up. He couldn't pop back up. And it was just like, oh my God, I just saw someone die.
Yeah.
Right. Like literally 50 feet from me.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah. And even in the other one, Baron Corbin pulled Moss out of the ring and tossed him down. Like, dude, you're done. Don't even worry about it. I'll take over. Cause it was like a false count anywhere match. So there was no DQ.
Yeah. Baron
runs in to start taking the match over. Cause he's like, fuck, what are you supposed to do? Right.
Yeah.
Madcap came back. He goes, no, I'm good. I'm going to keep going. It's kind of like, okay, fuck. Let's see real quick. Turnerfox says, Baby Rock is that dude that plays a wrestling game and taunts after every move he has done. That's me, though. I do that. If I'm playing a game, I slam someone, and then I do a taunt until I get hit. And Grim Reaper says, hi.
Hi.
Yeah, his shirt's going to be coming out to him real fast here. And he goes, Ricky needs that headband chain weight. And Turnerfox says, I seen that live. That sucked Dragon Lee pissed me off. But yeah. So,
you were there? Wait, you were there? At that show?
He saw it live, so he probably was watching it.
You saw it live? I was there. So Marty gave me a hug after the match. Thank God he wasn't the one who got the pin, because that was so out of character.
Oh, he says Hobbs holding the FTW title like he wants it. Just saying.
He's going to have it. He's going to have it. I think that this right here is. Did they eliminate people in this match?
What do you mean?
Well, is it like an elimination match?
No, I think it's just the person who wins.
4 dudes or 5 dudes going up a ladder. Okay, all right. Because I thought if it was elimination-ish, I have a feeling that Ricky and Hobbs is going to pretty much protect kind of Ricky. This is just my call on this. And I think that it's going to get to a point where it's like, you didn't do anything, little shit. What the fuck? You know?
Like, everyone in the chat saying the same thing. They're saying it's a fucking ladder match. Like, they're calling names almost.
Yeah.
Because you win by getting to the top. So how could you win by getting to the top and someone get eliminated? You know what I mean? It's a ladder match.
Okay. You know what? I'm a girl. I don't know. I don't know. You don't do this shit. My VFW hall does not do this. Okay. Right. The stateroom does not do that. Okay. Right. Hell, they don't even encourage people going off the top rope, off the turnbuckle, because you hit the lamps, the ceiling chandeliers.
I saw. I think it was a Generico spot I saw where him smashed a ceiling trying to do a dive on Steen. Mm-hmm. Do you think though? Because I think that Ricky being the smallest one in here is probably what makes me think he's going to win it. Because I think that they want to get to a Ricky Page match again real quick, and I think that the other guys, for one, I don't think we're anywhere near Wardlow getting a title shot. I don't think we're anywhere near Keith Lee getting a title shot. But I think they want to tease that. Because Keith Lee can't come in and lose to Page right away.
Well, Keith Lee, is not the kind of marquee person like a Punk or a Danielson. I'm sorry, Keith Lee. I like Keith Lee. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah, he's great.
But it's gonna be like some of these other people who came in who are lesser than.
And you just don't need to show up and lose right away like a lot of these guys have been doing. Set yourself apart,
Well, I think that if anything, there's going to be a spot at one point where Hobbs and Ricky are on the ladder and they're going to bicker and someone else will take it. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. Spinner Fox says, oh man, Johnny Wrestling better not be in this match. It would be shitty if that AEW is for the American Heart Association tee is also a hint at Johnny. That could be. Well, let's keep it moving.
Yeah, but the promo.
Yeah, the little promo afterwards was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ricky's
that's the kind of Ricky Starks promo we need.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I think so. That's where he shines. And it was great because he mocked Keith Lee, and I thought that was hilarious because that's what Keith Lee sounds like.
And I like that Keith Lee just kind of smirked at him. Like he wasn't this, because a lot of these guys will talk shit, like in the wrestling promo world, Someone says something to another guy, and then, oh, I'm more mad than ever. And everyone just gets like fired up and nose to nose, and they're licking each other's earlobes. And you're like, what the fuck is happening? Like Moxley constantly pressing his head and nose on other people's faces.
That's gross.
I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Like, it's not intimidating to nuzzle someone. Like, fucking stop. I think you're weird and trying to smell me. But the way that Keith Lee smirked at him, like, okay. Like, that was perfect to me. I think it's much more realistic for someone to talk shit on someone else and the other person smile and goes, is this what you want? Than it is for someone to be like, I'm going to nuzzle your earlobe with my nose. Like, what the fuck,
boy.
dude?
Well, yeah, but it was great that when Keith Lee started to talk about Wardlow, he didn't know anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Except for Ricky.
Yeah, I like
because
that.
obviously the Texas scene and everything. So I thought that was kind of great. Now, I didn't think that all of a sudden we'd say, well, here, look who's coming. It's Starkey.
Yeah.
And
I also think it was funny because what they didn't, which I don't think anyone picked up on, is that was kind of Keith Lee big leaguing them. I don't know who any of these people are. I've been in WWE. Like, that's not what he said, but he's kind of like, I've been in a bigger show. I don't watch this show. Like, that's what he, by saying I don't know who Wardlow or Hobbs is. I don't know them. I don't watch this stuff. It was fucking great. I loved that he didn't know them because I was like, ooh, that's a dick thing to say. But for him to say, but I know Ricky was also like, well, because he came up in Texas, like you said. Yeah. So he goes, of course I knew him on the come up, but once I went up, I don't watch any of this. I thought that would get some boos and did not.
No, because their fan base is stupid. They don't know. You don't know that. You don't know that. You don't know
they're talking shit on you.
Well, yeah, because it's like, okay, if you knew, like, okay, Keith Lee was before he, was at the E. He was with Ring of Honor, tag team with Shane Taylor. Also did a lot of solo stuff on the indies. He never, well, I don't know where the hell Wardlow came from, so I don't know. But I can tell you with Hobbs, they've never been in a situation where they were even together in the same show or anything that I know of. So, So,
Yeah.
Hey, but it's funny because I thought it was very tongue-in-cheek. I loved it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know who they are. I was kind of like, fucking big league motherfucker.
Motherfucker. I love it. And then the way Hobbs just looked at him.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, no, I know this is going to happen.
After this, we had a really awful backstage segment with the Young Bucks, Red Dragon, Adam Cole. I just thought it was bad. But then that was also followed up by... Oh, Spin Fox wants to know about the ladder match. He goes, he wants Anthony Bowens instead of Orange Cassidy in the match. He goes, who's going to be the mystery person? Cesaro, Johnny Mundo, Jeff Hardy, or other? I don't
Brian
know.
Cage.
That's what it should be. It 100% should be Brian Cage showing up and winning a ladder match again. I think it should be that 100%.
Absolutely.
Jay Cargill versus the Bunny.
Oh.
Justin Time says, what if the mystery person is Shane Taylor, since you brought it up? That's a really good point. Come into Slapjack.
Yeah. I don't think it is, because I don't think that he's been actively in talks with people.
Oh,
he's open.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think
you know who it's probably going to be? It's probably going to be Killer Cross.
You think?
Yeah. He'll come out.
Yeah, but why are you going to debut someone who's brand new and they're not going to win?
No, he'll win.
It's gotta
and then
be
you'll get Cross and Page.
True.
Yeah.
I want to see Cross and damn fucking House of Black. Malachi Black, because they're both kind of weird and,
Yeah, we
whatnot.
can get there.
I'd love that.
It'd be nice if it was Johnny Knoxville. I'll be honest. He'd make a good world champion.
Yeah. David Arquette?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was a champion before. So.
Yeah.
You can do it again.
So Jade Cargill versus the Bunny. This was an awkwardly bad match.
Like,
I don't mean like worse. It was like, well, Go ahead, finish that sentence.
I don't know who was worse, Jade or the Bunny. Sometimes the Bunny has good matches,
So,
but not really.
I described it like this to somebody. I said, this felt like watching Goldberg versus William Regal. That level of awkward. But I also couldn't figure out which one was Goldberg and which one was William Regal. Because they both were doing shit they didn't know how to do. And it was weird.
Well,
And it was just bad. You know, here's the thing. Jade Cargill is such a presence. And she's got so much character. And she's not half bad on the mic.
no.
You can't give her 10-minute matches with somebody who's also not fucking Daniel Bryan. And even if you were, she seems like the type that you got to work a match with this person for a while to get the match down so it's right. Because she's capable. I felt like this was the worst match we've seen her in. Which means that all other matches have been better than this. So this felt like a huge step backwards. But it's a big step backwards still the same. Like, I think honestly, with someone like Jade, give her the Goldberg treatment. You're already doing the streak. You're already saying who's next. Let her on TV matches for right now be quick matches against people who are on fucking YouTube and that. And meanwhile, backstage, you have her training with a Serena Deeb and a Thunder Rosa and whoever her next big opponent's going to be. Who's she going to have at Revolution? Know that last month. So that way for this whole month, she's
with Deeb.
Right. But, and I think she's also training with Thunder Rosa. But I'm saying, like, have her train for the big match and not a bunch of matches in between, right? So what I'm saying is, let's say you know you're getting Cargill versus, let's say, Ruby Soho at the pay-per-view. Then every match she has between then, like, for 2 months, between now and the pay-per-view, between then and the pay-per-view, you only have her in squash matches that are short, where she shows her power, like the AQA match, where it's not a big back and forth. I'm a very powerful person, I do these things, and that's that. Meanwhile, she's working extensively with her going-to-be pay-per-view opponent, a Ruby Soho-like. She's working with Soho and Deeb and Rosa every day on that one match, so she's not having to learn a bunch of matches in between, and you don't get this weird kind of sloppy thing here. It was awkward, strange. Aubrey's looking like an idiot for a bunch of reasons. Not counting the pin when it was clearly a pin. Twice she missed her kick out. You're like, fuck. It kind of reminds me, calls back to a while back. We had Tristan Law on the show. Awesome dude. He's got his podcast has come back. He's got a new format. It's fantastic. One of the things we talked about when he was on, he trained with the Dudleys. He talked about how important it was for refs to work the match like a shoot, like it's real. Like, if the dude doesn't kick out, you keep counting. He said that you can't be protected by the ref. And he goes, to the point that at the end of the day, if you don't kick out, then oops, we got a new champion. And he said it like that on the show. He's like, oops, we got a new champion. And he goes, and then you figure it out because it's wrestling. And if you got to get the title back on that person, you get it back on that person. But in the night, if you don't do it right, you don't keep that title that night. And here's twice Jade lost that title in that match and kept the title that night. And it made everyone look worse for it. Like, I'm just saying, I think they're giving too much to her now because there's so much potential there. They're pushing her limits faster than they need to.
Got the bumpers on.
Yeah, give her the bumpers. Give her short matches, clean wins, look strong, be a force, let her talk on the mic for a minute or two. Meanwhile, for 2 months, work with the people for one match. Then by the time she gets to the pay-per-view, someone goes, oh my God, a 15-minute match out of Jade Cargill? This is insanity. And it's amazing.
They don't know a tease. They don't know how to do a tease. Remember? It's
Yeah.
kids. They just...
Yeah, they're not teasing anything. Oh, let's show them. Because we'll only give the women one fucking match a night anyways. Let's give them 10 minutes because I'm going to get 10 minutes of the women. No, not in this case. In this case, you needed 2 women's matches, and one of them needed to be about 35 seconds. Sorry, I went on quite a thing there. And then let me hit Splinter Fox, and I'm going to hear from you. He said, Cross is spending his money for Carney EC3. I love that. It's true. Yeah. EC3 immediately calls fucking Braun Strowman and Karrion Kross like, hey, you guys made money up there for a while. You want to spend it all real quick? And they went, yeah, I'd sure love to. He also says heel versus heel. That is never a good thing to kick off the match. I didn't even catch it. They're both heels. I'm going to be honest. I did not catch that because the match was so awkward from the get. And he goes, I really want to know who is the one to beat her. Tay versus her is going to be as bad as well. Dude, Tay Conti. I don't know. That promo. I'm going to move it along. We'll get to that. Brian's biggest challenge is to make Jade a star. Bray playing the game on brutal mode. That's funny. Jade getting the tease. Who is going to beat her? And Deeb on her rookie challenge. Who will be her two, or who should beat her two? I think Deeb's challenge should end up going to somebody who really should be a breakout star. Like
yeah.
Who's that girl? Like she's got blue hair.
No.
Not Blue Onyx, but there's this girl who's like in fucking high school who's killing the scene. She just did an interview with Not Sam.
Oh, Sam.
Yeah.
Did an interview with her.
Someone like that should come in and beat Deeb and give everyone like a holy shit moment, you know? But it shouldn't go to somebody who's established. Like I don't want to see Toni Storm come out and beat Deeb real quick. Like she's not a rookie. I want to see like someone on the indie circuit with that kind of thing. Maybe even a Blair Onyx because she's doing awesome stuff too. But to see that, like, boom. Loves how Kingston jabbed at the women's, not getting any time. 100%. I love that too. Let's get Billy Starks. That's the one.
She's kicking ass.
She's kicking ass. Billy Starks coming out. Oh, Sky Blue, Splinter Fox, and Justin. I'm talking about. No, I'm talking about Billy Starks. There's a lot of women in wrestling with blue hair right now. My apologies, guys. I shouldn't have said it that way.
Yeah.
Because Blue Onyx, Sky
Nightingale's
Blue.
another one.
Willow Nightingale would be a good one. Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd like to see someone like a Billy Starks come out and beat a Deeb and have everyone go, "What the fuck is this? And who is this?" You know?
Yeah.
And then honestly, Justin says, I haven't seen a good Jade match at all. All in all, she's just in a position she wasn't ready to be in. Okay, I don't think all her matches have been bad, though, and they're not all awkward either. Like, sometimes it's just good for what it is, and that's good enough. No,
but
she
this was
has
a hot mess.
Yeah, but this was a hot mess. Go ahead, Amanda. I've been talking for way too long. You take it over. What do you think? Or do you want to just
Justin,
move on?
it was a hot mess. It was a hot mess. Because first you have Allie, the bunny, Allie, who, I don't know, she has good moments, she has bad moments.
Mm-hmm.
This was just horrible. Because when you're working with someone who, you know, you're not really seasoned, it can get awkward. You know?
I honestly thought Jade was concussed during this match, but I don't think she was.
She could have been. No. And then, you know, you have that. And then you have, I think, the worst ref of them all in AEW. You have Aubrey, who tries to make it about her when it's like, dude, it's not about you. It's about the match. You know, you don't have to be overly animated on things. You know, you want to be like almost like stealth-like. See, like her and Bryce Remberg, they both kind of do that, but she's the most obnoxious with it. It's like, just be like Paul Turner and, you know, kind of, you know, you're around, you're observant. But yeah, no, it was a definite hot mess. And did I enjoy it? No, because that's what it is, a hot mess. And then speaking of hot mess, when Ty Conti came out, that was another hot mess too. Because I'm like, no. What are you teaching your women? She needs to, and I know English is a second language, right? I get it. But it was almost like she needs to have someone to help her, because if you enunciate a little better, it wouldn't have been kind of jumbled. Because it almost to me was like, you know, the Brown when the
so I think
teacher talks. That's what I thought it was. Like,
she didn't.
Yeah.
Like, she could have a manager, yes, and I know that they were trying to do something smart by give her less lines, but she still struggled with them. And then what made it worse is she darted in the ring as fast as she could.
Yeah.
And then did nothing. And then stood there and kind of was like, and points a finger, and you're kind of like, are you a badass or not? Like, if you're rushing the ring, like, do something. So much so that Jade laughs in her face and kisses her forehead. That, for one, if you're close enough for me to kiss your forehead, fucking do something. Like, quit trying to smell me. It was another one of those moments where I was like, quit rubbing faces and either punch me or yell across the ring. Like, what the fuck? But yeah, I think they were trying to do a favor to Tay by not having so many words, but it really just came off like even in 2 sentences you couldn't make them believable. There was
I
a
didn't
problem.
even understand what she was saying.
That's true too. Is that like it was still kind of even broken with 2 sentences. She didn't catch all the words, and the sentence wasn't entirely cohesive. And again, second language is tough enough as it is. Like, I wish that they had her come out with Anna Jay or something and have Anna say something, and Tay look just like a badass and maybe say 1 or 2 things. Like, it's just it seems like a lot of the women's division is not focused on the people who are very, very good at this, and it's hyper focused on the people who still have a lot of learning to go, who could be future stars. And there's definitely a balance there, right? Like Spinner Fox was saying earlier, AEW should be where the younger stars break out and become huge, and he doesn't like it when they focus too heavily on these long-term talent at high levels like a Daniel Bryan and a Mox. He doesn't want them to focus on them for too long, but there's got to be a balance where you're letting these veterans teach the young talent how to take over. And what we're doing here is that realistically in their women's division, their veterans are the Serena Deebs and the Thunder Rosas, which is also a crazy thing to put Thunder Rosa in that realm. Can we just applaud Thunder for a second, because she's been wrestling for 5 years, and we're talking about her as a veteran. On the same level as a Serena Deeb, who's been doing it for 20. Like, Thunder Rosa's far and away. So I'm saying, like, they need to be focusing on their Thunders and their Serenas, and even their Rubies to like be the face of all this right now, while the people like Jade and Tay can come along and get slingshotted once they get it all. But their focus is on the people who still have a lot of learning to do, and not the people who can already execute well. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not trying to trash anyone either. I think they're all making progress, and that's what made this match so like strange to me, was that with Jade, I'm like, she's been getting better. This should be decent. And then as I'm watching, I was all like, this is the worst thing she's done. Like, how did we step backwards? Like, I was surprised because I didn't expect it or want it even to go that way. You know what I mean? It's like, this is fucking weird.
Yeah.
Their focus is just split in the wrong direction, I think.
Not only does it split in the wrong direction, but it was kind of like, what the hell? Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess it is what it is. But I will say this, Hikaru Shida, English is her second language. But she doesn't come across like, I mean, and yeah, the English is broken, but you can understand what she's saying,
Well, and there's a believability there too. Shida comes off a little more like she's talking. And I think Tay was trying to recite memorized lines and failed at it.
Or I don't know, or maybe this is how she thought badass women talk. Oh no. Yeah. I'd have been running down there, taking off my earrings and being ghetto. That's just me if I were to do that. And then to have Anna Jay run out like with the chair, that was kind of, I'm like,
and
where
it was
were
also
you?
Weird. Well, there's that. Where were you? But also like Jade.
Yeah.
So Tay runs in and Jade doesn't even take one step back. She's laughing in Tay's face. Mm-hmm. And then Anna Jay comes out with a chair, and Jade casually, nonchalantly walks out of the ring and walks away. Mm-hmm. Like, Jade is showing zero urgency and zero fear of any of these people, which is a double-edged sword. One, it's cool because you're like, oh, she's such a badass, she's not fazed by anything. Yeah. But secondly, you're all like, is no one actually a threat at all? Like, even with a fucking weapon? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I think she's portraying that she's that badass.
Right. But in a world and in a show where we know a lot of stuff can be a bit phony, if you have someone coming out wielding a weapon and you don't sell that there's any danger in that, you make it look phony. Because yes, you could be saying, I'm tough, I don't care if I get hit. But you also could be saying, well, I know I'm not going to get hit because that's not part of the script. You know what I mean?
True.
It came off a little bit on the phony side and not an urgency. Like if she darted out of the ring and then laughs at her and goes, oh, you would need that. You'd be like, oh, there was a sense of urgency to get away from the weapon.
Yeah. Because
on any good day, someone gets hit with a brick and it doesn't matter how strong you are, you'll go down. Like, it's okay to fear weapons. It's weird. You know what I mean? And so there was that balance where I was kind of like, what the fuck is happening? But I don't want to beat on this too much. Let me hit the chat and we'll move on. Spinner Fox says Jade and Thunder was her best match. Yeah, that match wasn't bad by any means. And he goes, oh, and if Thunder Rosa does not win the title at the pay-per-view, I'm going to be pissed. I agree. He goes, first off, Tay almost died in her last match with that moonsault. How does she get a title shot? Probably won a ladder match.
It's because she's banging Sammy Guevara. Come on now. Come on.
I wouldn't be the one to say that, but
when you're somebody's favorite, okay, in the back, and your girl, I'm just saying.
Spinoff does bring up a good point. He says it sucks that 3 of their best women's talent are all in the same storyline. Jamie Hayter, Mercedes Martinez, Thunder Rosa, which is true. Those 3 are fucking awesome. Hayter's amazing. I was pissed
Hayter needs to wrestle more.
Yeah, when they sent her back to the UK and didn't sign her the first time we saw her, I was like, what the fuck? She's like one of the best ones I've seen on here in a while. And he goes, she'd have gone in Japan. We won't even know if or when she's coming back, which that was the whole thing too. That she was putting out stuff on Twitter too about how she really like, what's your favorite part of working in AEW? And she goes, catering's really nice and talking about wrestling with my friends. And you're like, Christ. And he goes, they need a reboot. He goes, get Statlander out of the best friends and be the one to end Jade. Statlander is being underused totally. I could see that argument too. That makes sense.
Yeah. Statlander needs more oomph. You know what I mean? She's not just this, okay, I'm this alien. It's like Statlander. I mean, when I first saw Statlander, it was a GCW, and she was more than a badass. I mean, she was wrestling, doing intergender, right? And I thought, oh, this girl is fucking tough. Not because she was doing intergender, but just because just everything. Yeah. Her mannerisms, all of that stuff. Yeah. But, I don't know. I don't write this shit. I don't. Oh, yeah. Whatever. Who are we?
For sure. The last thing was the Daniel Bryan Moxley stuff and Daniel Garcia match. I don't have a lot to say about it other than it was another Daniel Bryan match, so it's good. Then it just felt like the audience was so fucking primed up and ready for the idea of Moxley and Daniel Bryan. And I mean, neither one of those guys are anywhere near the like it just. I don't know. It's like I said, they've built their world title to be so meaningless in comparison to this, and the crowd seemed hotter for Moxley versus Daniel Bryan than anything, and it's almost like it felt like they were starved for a certain star power that they're just not getting yet. And I think it's fault of the booking and not the capability of the wrestlers. You know what I mean? Like Adam Page should feel like a much bigger deal than he does, and my big takeaway was like, what a bummer that Adam Page isn't closing the show out almost ever, and their most important match seems to be 2 veterans from WWE coming over and doing a one-on-one match. Like, it's cool, but also like, wouldn't it be nicer if this wasn't your main event all the time? TB Poker coming through. Hello, friends. TB Poker. What do you think about that main event? And then I'm ready to talk about NXT.
Yeah. Obviously, for me, it was underwhelming. Because I've seen Daniel Garcia live do some pretty incredible matches as of late. So was this kind of cool to see? Maybe. But, they're both technical wrestlers. It's great. The guy's up and coming. But really, like, I don't think we need to be continuing this kind of storyline. I don't know. That's just me. But yeah.
All right.
I don't know.
Anything else on it, or you want to talk NXT?
Yep. NXT.
NXT opened up with Braun Breaker and a Dolph Ziggler promo. I fucking love Dolph Ziggler. What do you think about this promo?
Oh my God, Ziggles is great, and I love how. I guess this is his I don't want to say like community service for WWE to go over to, NXT, but I really am enjoying having him over there. And I think that because Ziggs is so good on the mic that I think a lot of people can learn a lot from him. Not just because LA Knight's there too, but I think with Ziggler, they can also learn a lot. So I was mucho impressed with that. Wasn't excited about, was I not excited about? Was not excited about, there were some other things I wasn't excited about, but other than that, all in all, it was good.
Yeah, I really like the way that they've been balancing this Ciampa Dolph Ziggler program through Raw and in NXT, so it's been making it feel even more important. It's been feeling more linear. We were talking to Sportsbeard on the show before, and they he was saying how impressed he was at Ciampa, and how is this guy not on the main roster? What is he doing down in NXT? And like, he was so impressed. He wanted to see the Ziggler Ciampa match. He couldn't watch it because he was watching hockey. Is what it is. But he was bummed he was going to miss the match because of that. And I thought, what a cool way they're doing, having this storyline go through Raw and NXT the way that they did Waller and AJ. If this is the new NXT where we have the guys coming down and bringing the guys up to the big stage for a little bit and coming back down, like this cyclical, like getting people used to the stars, fucking cool.
Yeah,
man.
It's cool. And again, second week in a row that 2.0 was enjoyable for me. So I'll put that out there.
Yeah, it was. I mean, this was just a solid show. I watched it again. I mean, and after that, the first match was LA Knight versus Grayson Waller.
Oh yeah.
What a fucking good match. Yeah. Dude.
I love how Vic Joseph and Wade Barrett.
Yeah.
Stu, god damn it. Anyways, how they were doing the and trying to get that over, at least educating the people at home. So kudos to them for that. I liked that. I thought it was cool.
Oh yeah. It was amazing. And Grayson Waller is such an incredible athlete.
He is.
What the fuck did he do before wrestling?
I don't know. Was he one of these football players or athletes before?
Right? Because he also moves like a fucking Cirque du Soleil guy. The way he weasels in and out of the ropes and stuff.
Oh, totally.
The way he tumbles is incredible. Like, even his entrance into the ring looks fucking wicked athletic, and he's never winded. He'll be in a match for 20 minutes, and he's still fine.
Oh, yeah.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, LA Knight versus Grayson Waller did not disappoint, and then Grayson Waller cheats to get the win on LA Knight. LA Knight gets his fucking comeuppance and beats the shit out of him after the match. Cuts a couple promos throughout the night. Like, fucking just stellar. I'm really liking this new NXT potentially highlighting LA Knight heavily, but at the same time, I'm ready to see LA Knight on SmackDown for sure.
Yeah, and that was what the buzz I saw a lot online was, why isn't he on the main roster?
Yeah.
And I mean, like there are some people right now who should be there, like him, Cameron Grimes, whatever, because they're ready for it. Yeah. Like a person like Carmelo Hayes, he needs to be down there for a little bit,
Things like cameras that. A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. And Pete Dunne, I'm like, when are you going to do anything greater than?
Yeah.
Is it like, are you going to be like grizzled young vets where you're just kind of there and you're just almost kind of bitter? I don't know.
I do think that soon enough, I think we're going to get LA Knight, Pete Dunne, Grimes, and Ciampa all on the main roster. I think they're ones that we can see easily getting primed for the main roster.
But do you think that Ciampa wants to do that?
Well, I mean, the fact he's entertaining at all is kind of amazing already.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought the thing was that he didn't want to do it, but here he is showing up on Raw. He had a tag match this past Raw. Him and Finn Balor tagged up, and they beat Ziggler and Bobby Roode.
Interesting.
Imagine Ciampa and Finn Balor as a tag team.
Jesus Christ.
It was amazing. The abs in that tag team alone.
Holy crapola.
It was ridiculous. It was like seeing a couple dozen fucking chicken breasts just strapped to guys' stomachs.
Dude, okay. Splinter Fox, are you still in here? Because, or listening?
Well, he sleeps
Okay.
a lot during NXT, but what are you gonna do?
Okay. Just so you know, Cole Cabana could never be that ripped. No way. He'd buy one of those. I probably would see him in one of those like bodysuits that would have the fake abs in it before I'd ever see him be that. No.
That would be cool too, though.
That no. Mm-mm. No.
TV
The only
Poker's
one-
saying, when will Gargano come back? He doesn't have a contract anymore. Who knows?
No. And Gargano just had the baby. So I don't expect Gargano to be back soon.
Yeah, me neither. And he
Couple
says that he
months.
wants Walter on the main roster to take out Reigns. I don't think that he's in a position, even if he made it to the main roster, to go straight for Roman. But I do think that he should be moving up really soon, too. Him and Imperium they're a unit that's ready to move.
Yeah, I think with Gunther, well, we'll talk about it when we get to Gunther, but
Yeah.
I think, he's gotten so good
Yeah.
that it's scary to me. Yeah. But he is a scary kind of figure. Yeah. If you've ever met him.
Splinter Fox says, Amanda, I'm not saying that he's got to get into Finn or Buddy shape. Just get in shape of somewhat.
Oh, mean. Oh, I'm
He's
telling
going-
Cole.
he's going for it.
But
Cole
Cole will tell you he likes his pizza and his whatever's. He has a horrible diet too, by the way. Yeah, there's a lot of foods he won't eat. So
The Dakota Kai, Wendy Chu backstage segment I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I will say again, Wendy Chu. You gotta love her. There's this she's kind of like Garfield.
Yeah.
You know how Garfield's kind of sarcastic can be lovable, but very sarcastic at the same time.
Yeah.
That's what she reminds me of, is Garfield.
Her facial expressions are fantastic.
Oh, I know. I love it. I love it because I could do that. I do that too.
Yeah.
But it was great, and I love how Dakota. She's like, your friend. You can talk to her friend. Like, who are we talking to? Yeah, I thought that was great that she was playing up to that. So, the shitty part is because of where they are in the tournament bracket. They're not going to go far. They're not going to beat Indy and what's her face.
I think they might. I think we might end up with. Well, I guess you're right, because I think when I look at the bracket, I called the first round pretty quickly, but I think that I think we end up. I think you're right. They were gonna maybe win one match, because I think they're going to give us Indy and Persia, right? They might win that one, but they won't win the next one, because I think they're gonna get to Io and Kaylee against Raquel and Cora.
Yeah.
And so I think that Raquel and Cora are going to take out Wendy Chu and them, but I think that they'll move on from there. But
No. They're wrestling Indy and Persia.
yeah, and I think that they'll win that one, but then they'll lose to Raquel and
I
Cora.
don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think Indy and Persia have been billed as a very strong tag team, and I think their whole storyline right now has to do with making out with dudes, and I don't think that
That's true.
I think that they can serve to have a loss or two, and it's not even a big deal. That's why I think Wendy and Dakota will go one step.
Yeah.
TV Poker says my aunt's name is Gunther. Okay. Spinner Fox says, I think if there is another annual budget cut, I hate to say it, Kai will be on the list, which would suck. She is another one that should have gotten that major push when she turned on Gonzalez. I wonder about Dakota Kai.
Yeah,
she's like a
especially this
female
gimmick
Dolph
right
Ziggler,
now.
but you know.
Yeah, this right now is horrible. No. This is
What do you think of
horrible.
all the toxic attraction stuff they did this episode? They kept him around, and they kept moving to him, and they were in the toxic lounge and all that.
Well, I like toxic attraction. I was getting a little irritated with the banter of Vic Joseph and trying to calm down
Wade
Barrett.
So funny.
That I was funny. But after a while, I'm like, come on, dude, just let him go up there. They'll probably freaking ignore him anyway.
That would be funny, actually, if he just goes and sits up there.
That I would love to see. Yeah, but no. I think it's very effective to have that, and it's nice because you see that they're totally invested on who these women and seeing
Yep.
Which is something rare because I don't think you really see that a lot with women's wrestling when you have tournaments like this.
There was a lot of women in this episode, and I say that in a nice
Yeah.
way. Like, we had the Dakota Wendy backstage segment. We had the Toxic Lounge being a constant thing. We had Cora and Raquel training together. Let's see. We had the Tag Team Classic matches. We had 2 of them. We had the debut of another woman. Like, this show was mostly women, and it was fucking cool to see, you know?
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that other lady. What, the lion lady? I don't know. I think that's what.
We'll get to that in just a second. We'll get to her in a minute. Unless you just want to talk about her right now. She was kind of standalone. Let's just talk about it.
Yeah, because
the chat's blowing up about her already, too, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. What am I supposed to feel?
Let's see. Her name was Nikkita Lyons. Here's what I thought. I thought I was expecting very little out of her. And I thought that they were going really heavy on character stuff and all the promo stuffs and the vignettes because I thought they were trying to cover up for something. And then she was in this match with Kayla Inley. And the match went for a little while. And I was actually really impressed with Nikkita and her ability to move. I thought the match was solid. It wasn't like a main event ready match. But I thought keeping her off TV as long as they have and teasing her has been really smart because she came out with pretty low expectations and came off really solid. I think her being kind of thick in general has me thinking that she could be a big powerhouse, but she's also moving quick. I think she's going to fit in perfectly on the main roster, going up against people like, well, for one, like Raquel Gonzalez or a Rhea Ripley or even a Doudrop or a Bianca. Like, you're starting to have strong women who aren't super petite, and I think it goes a long way. Like, one of Sasha's and Alexa's things they have to overcome is how small and petite they are. Sasha's, got pretty toned muscles and stuff so she can move real fast and look like she's hitting you real fucking hard. But when you're that small and you're going up against a Nia Jax or a Doudrop, there's a lot to overcome in just the visual of it. So I think it's kind of cool that they're starting to stack the roster with sizable women. And I thought she came off that way. And I thought that I even saw someone compare her to Jade Cargill the other day. Someone said this is exactly why you keep women off TV or any talent off TV until they're ready to be on TV. They're like, why do you think this girl on NXT got such good reaction? Because they waited until she was ready. Where now you have all these fucking GIFs flying around of Jade messing up in this because they're doing too much too fast,
Yeah.
But I thought she was really good. Not amazing, still room to grow, but a solid match.
Yeah. I didn't know how I was supposed to feel like after the vignettes and things like that. Because the vignettes I thought were kind of weird to begin with.
Yeah.
So I didn't know how
I couldn't make heads or tails of those vignettes.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about her. So that's where I was like puzzled. I mean, she's better than I thought, but I was just kind of like, what is this? So I went watching it in the totally confused mindset of, okay, we've been seeing this promo or these types of promos of her for the last couple of weeks, but I don't get it.
Right. So it seemed like a lot. And Spinner Fox brings up a really good point. I think it looks like he Googled something because there's no way he wrote this out. It's too cohesive. It said, she is with Lyons. It says, now set to make her presence known in WNC 2.0. The question arises, who is Nikkita Lyons, a.k.a. Faith Jeffries? Before signing with the WWE, the 22-year-old Las Vegas native worked as a multi-talented entertainment professional, author, and MMA fitness coach. She also starred in the hit TV series WoW Superheroes, produced by Women of Wrestling. I didn't realize she was from WoW. It goes, Jeffries was also a top 10 finalist on the international hit show American Stars, where she was recognized for her singing, dancing, and mixed martial arts skills. So, really easy
you
to
didn't
see
write
why
that.
they might... No, there's no way you wrote that.
Yeah, you didn't write that.
But, not realizing she was an MMA fitness coach, author,
Yeah.
singer, dancer. Like, no wonder.
And then on WoW.
And on WoW.
Yeah.
Really easy to get confused in those vignettes where you go like, wait, what are we doing? Is she a singer? Is she a dancer? Is she a fighter? What is it? She's all of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, with WoW too, we all know who's like one of the big head trainers over there.
Yeah. Been Tessa forever.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where I can kind of see, you know, as much as people think Tessa's a piece of shit. Okay, there are a lot of pieces of shit that wrestle. Okay. She's the best. She's one of the best women that's out there. And it's a damn shame that she's not on one of these platforms, because she's amazing. I mean, I've never
a lot of
seen
people can be quiet
bad...
pieces of shits and get away with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
But, you know, I know her dad was like,
Keep
don't
going,
want
I lost
anything to
audio. I
do
gotta
with
get it back.
whatever. Yeah. Uh-oh. Did we break the internet? Uh-oh. Oh no.
You gotta keep going.
We broke the internet. It's only episode 1. We're okay.
Technical difficulties. Take a drink. I'm back.
Okay. So sorry. It's only episode 1, people, don't freak out. Yeah. So I thought we maybe would make it to 2 today, because it's been very riveting, but I guess not. Anyways, so.
Is that what happened? Fuck. I just lost her. I still have no audio. Technical difficulties, everybody. Take a drink. In the chat real quick while we figure this out. Swinfox says it's a shame she did what she did that caused her to be blackballed to begin with. Oh, talking about Tessa, yeah. Let's see here. All right, well, that's still open, so she can jump back in, so she'll be good there. And then, let's see. Man, thank you guys for hanging out and having a drink. Now's a good time to pour a drink. As we sort this out. Let's see. Oh.
Sorry, you lost me. I don't know what happened to my laptop.
The hell?
Can you hear me? Hello?
Coming back. Thank you guys. Pour another drink. Shots,
Yep.
shots.
Yeah. Sorry.
All right.
We are definitely not getting to episode 2.
My audio. She's back. You guys
Yep.
can see
Sorry.
her.
Sorry. Try to fix the video here. But that's okay. I have audio. So.
All right, I'm
That's
back.
what-
I hear
Okay.
you. All
Okay.
right. In
Cool.
the chat, Just in Time does say Twitter and their horny asses selves need to tone it down. Yeah, it was really funny actually while NXT was happening. Everyone was like, what do they call it? Horny on main. They were all like, who's this girl? And like, oh, check this. And everyone's drooling and making dirty comments. And I was like, can we also acknowledge that she happened to be a very good wrestler her first night out? Like,
Men. And they get on women. For women, you know, being, oh, this guy's cute, or he's got a good ass.
yeah.
Fuck you. If I want to say that Ricky Starks has a great ass, I'm going to say Ricky Starks has a great ass.
Yeah.
Colt Cabana does. That was
Okay.
for you.
Just in Time does say naming everything Nikkita does is like naming all the names the heiress from Family Guy had. And Twitter Fox says, wow, Jeffries was a black belt at age 7. There's some videos of her doing Taekwondo. No wonder she's picking it up. And like you said, trained by Tessa Blanchard.
Yeah.
It's not a bad place to be.
She
No.
looked like she knew what the fuck she was doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
She looked legit like you don't want to fuck with her.
Yeah, I would
Like,
say
I
that
believed it.
her and Tiffany are the two I'm most impressed with how far they'll go.
And
Yeah.
really cool to see homegrown NXT talent.
Yep. And Spin Fox says she is fast as fuck. Yeah, I was that spinning heel kick she did at the end into that weird splits thing.
Yeah.
I was all like, oh shit. And Spinner Fox says Jeffries versus Ronda in the future. I don't know if Ronda will be around that many years.
No.
If I'm being honest.
I don't think Ronda will be around in a year.
Yeah, but I wouldn't hate it, but yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought her debut was awesome. What a great way to debut. Especially, ironically and unfortunately, you have everyone talking about her blowing up the night she comes out and wrestles, and then the next day everyone's blowing up about how bad Jade shit the bed, and you just go,
yeah, Jade shit the bed, and yeah.
Spinnerbox says the way WWE moves, it could happen in a year or two. Yeah, that's true. Maybe rush them. Let's see the Cora and Raquel videos I liked. The Io Shirai and Kaylee versus Last Legend and Amari Miller. I was actually impressed by this match. What do you think?
How come I feel like I didn't see this?
It was early on. Did you watch it on Hulu or something?
Yeah, I did watch it on Hulu.
Oh, okay. They cut it.
Okay.
No.
Only because I couldn't, Peacock. All right. Can I rant on Peacock for a moment here? Peacock does not they just put up on Monday, I think, last week's episode.
Not true. I watched NXT.
What do you mean not true? It doesn't, I looked at my Peacock and I had last week's. There was no this week on Tuesday.
Just not true. Because I watch NXT before we go live every week. I watch it the day that airs, but I put it on again right before we go live.
I have to look at it again because I don't see it at all.
Now, if you don't finish the full episode and you just click play the next episode, it'll go back to the last episode you watched and not the next episode.
No. When I go to look
episodes.
I go to the episodes. Yeah, that's how I look it up. Yeah.
Hmm.
But I was like, what the fuck? Yeah. I was a little irritated with that. So, but yes.
Let's see. Dante Chen versus Stu Cuts. Dude, a lot of people were talking about, too, that just NXT in general seemed real fucking thirsty. This Duke Hedson stuff. I mean, it's hard to argue. They're doing a lot. I mean, was it 2 weeks ago they had the BBC jokes and then the dude getting a boner because Mandy came in and fell in his lap? Like, they're really pulling that crowd there. Pulling a few things, I guess. Trish versus Cameron Grimes was dope.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
You know me, I love Cameron Grimes. I think that I'd like to see him and Carmelo round 2 because I really enjoyed that match. Yeah. And he really kept Carmelo on his toes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it was great.
Yeah, I'm pro
that. Ivy Nile and Tatum Paxley versus Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter. I don't think we've seen Tatum Paxley before much. I think we saw her once last week.
I was confused because I was like, have we seen her before? And she was popped here and there, but I couldn't remember where and when I'd seen her. You know what I mean?
But I thought her and Ivy made a really good pairing.
Yeah.
They came off really well together. And then at the end, they're choking each other out and shit. And I was like, the fuck is this? It was a little weird, but overall, I thought the match between all 4 of them was great.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. It's really good. Yeah, when I see Casey and, oh God, why am I blanking on her name? Anyways, senior moment. I think that every time I watch them wrestle, they're getting better and better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because for a while I'm like, you guys are really stale and you're not improving.
Yeah.
But now they are. So I'm really excited to see that.
Yeah.
Watch for it.
Yeah. And then we can finish it up, though, on the main event. Dolph Ziggler versus Tommaso Ciampa ended in a Ziggler won because the cameraman smashed Ciampa. Turned out to be Bobby Roode. You had a whole breakdown between the Dirty Dogs and Ciampa and Breaker, which leads me to believe that I know we're going to get the tag match next week, but it also leads me to believe we might see Braun and Ciampa. No, I guess you wouldn't, because you got Ciampa and Finn already. You leave Braun in NXT. Never mind. But Ziggler and Ciampa, what do you think of this match?
I enjoyed it. It was everything I thought it was going to be and more. Only because, I don't know. Personally, myself, I've always been a fan of Ziggler. Okay. And, no mistaking I mean, I think that, sometimes he's probably, if you were to say who is like one of the most underrated wrestlers,
Yeah.
I say, because he's not used in a capacity that he should be used in. And his talent, or talents, I'll say plural, far outweigh, a lot of things. So, yeah. But,
Not only does he not get used as much or as well as he could, he also always excels in the way he's being used.
Yes.
No matter what it is.
Mm-hmm.
When they're like, you're going to job to Goldberg,
yeah,
he jobbed to Goldberg better than anyone's job to Goldberg.
Yeah.
It's still one of my favorite Goldberg matches. It was so fucking good.
I think that he really is, one that he knows his role, and he knows for as long as he's been there that he knows that,
Yeah.
he's not get pretty much anything. So you might as well just go with the flow.
Yeah.
That's how I see him.
100%. Whatever you want, boss, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it better than anybody else could ever do it. And he does.
Yep.
Every time. When you make him world champion, you believe it. When you make him intercontinental champion, you believe it. When you make him lose to Goldberg, you fucking believe it.
Yeah. I wish his brother were that good, but no, he's not.
Well,
but I digress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought it was awesome. And then here you have Bobby Roode out in NXT too, so now you're expanding that universe even a little bit further.
This is like in the universe, but it's WWE universe. I'm waiting for I don't know, the Scooby-Doo animated like John Cena to pop up somewhere. That's how crazy all this is to me. Yeah.
But it's been awesome. I've really enjoyed the last couple of weeks of NXT because of this. I thought it was great.
Thank you, Drake.
Absolutely.
Well, we'll shout out that in a little bit. But I thought he was on Raw.
Really?
Maybe. Did you read he was creative in NXT?
I thought you said he was NXT.
But producer, you did get. Was there anything that stood out? You finally got to see NXT like today. Was there anything that stood out on there, specifically pretty major?
I just thought Nikkita looked badass.
Yeah.
And I like strong women.
Yeah.
I like when they look like they could physically kick your ass. And she definitely brought that. I mean, yes, she looks sexy, but like beyond that, she looked like she could legit kick your ass.
Which is also ironic because I think that you were hesitant to think about what you're going to see because last night or the night before, all you saw was thirst fucking tweets, and you go, "Oh, some girl came out and shook her titties or something," and then when you just, but that was the attitude you gave me.
Yeah, well,
you're like, "Oh, did you like the new debut?" I was like, "She was really good." You go, "I bet you thought she was good." I was like, "Oh, come on."
Well, her outfit does look like a bra, but that's how most of the outfits are now, just in general.
I was gonna say that's gear for women.
Yeah, she said it's regular gear for women. But yeah, and so it was really kind of cool to actually get the chance for you to sit down and watch the match because then you could actually judge it for what it was versus then all the thirst online where you saw like, okay, guys, like other things happened.
Yeah.
Put your things back into their pants. We don't need a ruckus here. Come on now.
You don't got to tweet about it. But so one other side note, unless there's anything else on NXT you wanted to throw out there?
No, but I'm really enjoying 2.0.
Yeah.
So whatever they're doing good. So.
Which is also wild too because of how much you enjoyed Black and Gold for a while.
Yes, I really did and do.
And this is just becoming a lot more fun.
Well, not just that it's fun, but the vehicles in which they're doing it and the players that they have that are involved makes it really enjoyable for me.
Yeah.
So, because that first couple of episodes, like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Very discombobulated.
Yeah, it felt all over the place. Who's this? Who's that? And I think that they're really trying to get their footing as well. And here's the other thing. So many of these people are showing up on NXT 2.0 that you only see for 2 or 3 weeks. And a lot of people are just like, well, this person's ready for the main roster. Like, even in Black and Gold, how often did anybody ever say, well, this person's ready to move on? It was very rare and few people. And it was always like, oh, they should stay here forever. They should stay here forever. Everyone who's watching NXT 2.0 are seeing people get to a presentation level to where they expect them on a larger stage fast.
They're practicing on live crowds now.
It's great.
Yeah, it's great. It's awesome. Definitely awesome to see. Now, but the thing is we have to always remember too, is that, remember, it's developmental.
Yeah.
So a lot, we don't know, because we don't know contracts, but we don't know how long some of these people have been in the system, so to speak.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we really can't say, oh yeah, they're ready to go, because, it could be someone who's not ready to go, But
that's what I mean, is that in Black and Gold, for whatever reason, when someone would show up and they were like new to us, they felt new, looked new.
Yeah.
They didn't seem ready. Now we're seeing people come out, look new, and you go, oh, they could have gone straight to the main roster. Like, I'm just saying that whatever they're doing in their system now is such that the product is becoming more impressive faster by the talent alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
Not that the other talent wasn't impressive and not capable, but the narrative is different. It used to be in Black and Gold, oh, they should stay in NXT forever. They'll never make it on the main roster. When you have a whole roster of people in developmental who will, quote, never make it outside of there, that's a problem. And when you currently have a roster of a ton of talent that everyone says, why is this talent not on the main roster? That's a successful developmental plan. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Developing.
Huh?
Developing.
L.A. Knight. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're learning.
The only other thing I'll throw out there real quick, as we wrap it up, it did come out in one of the things that Drake Maverick was re-signed to WWE in a creative role.
What?
Yeah, apparently 3 or 4 weeks ago, he started working in creative in WWE.
Interesting.
I think it's fantastic because one of the things, I think the thing I've heard the most about Drake Maverick is
Drake
how,
Maverick.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said Drake. Yeah.
Oh, no, Drake Maverick. The one thing I've heard the most about Drake Maverick, easily bar none, as much as he was always very good wrestling and, he may be undersized, but he's got heart and all that stuff. One thing I've always heard about him is how incredibly brilliant and encyclopedic his brain is when it comes to wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think Sam Roberts talked about walking up to him and asking him just as like a gag, can you name all the main events of every WrestleMania in order? And he just did.
Oh, wow.
Like, yep, here we go. And
CM Punk failed that test.
yeah, CM Punk would not make that test. That's a funny one. Splinter Fox says EC3 can't get his money now. Dude, I thought that too. When I saw EC3 doing all this stuff and taking everyone's money, I was like, where the fuck's Drake Maverick and all this? Because I know they're friends, and there's no way that dude's not trying to steal that guy's money.
He's like, I'm not taking my money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see it. Yeah, I'm taking it.
But if he's in creative, he's very busy, and he can't pay for someone else's narrative anymore. So.
Yep, there you go.
But
Sorry.
just really happy and excited for Drake to be in wrestling, because there's nothing that man seems to want more or desire more than to be in wrestling, and working for WWE was such a dream for him over and over again that it nothing else but just cheers and best of luck. I hope he's got another 30 years in creative ahead of him,
Absolutely.
Wrestling podcast, like.
Yeah, when I met him on an elevator. And he was listening to something to wrestle with on his headphones, but I didn't realize that we'd made eye contact. And I went, oh, hi. And he said something to me, and I responded back. And then I realized that he didn't hear my response back. And I was like, oh, okay. And I kind of put my head down, and he looked over me. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And pulls out a headphone. He's like, I'm just listening to something to wrestle with right now. And I was like, the episode on Sid that just dropped? And he's like, yeah, that one. I was like, isn't it fucking crazy? And then him and I started talking about Sid and something to wrestle and Bruce Pritchard. We're just talking about wrestling podcasts because, like, it's just what we both do,
Yeah.
Yeah. Nerd. Yeah.
Podcast nerd.
But it was great because it was also like we stopped. Immediately the wall was broken down and we stopped being just fan wrestler. And it was all like, no. 2 fans can talk about it too. Like when I met Kofi.
Yeah.
When I met Kofi backstage at a show, I was kind of like walking around, like keeping my head down, not trying to bump into anybody. And I'm just kind of standing there staring by myself. And Kofi walks over and he goes, "Crazy, isn't it?" And I was like, "Oh, hey man, what's up?" And he's all like, "I think about it all the time. Like, man, that's Dean Malenko over there. I grew up watching that guy, and he's giving me pointers on my matches. Like, it's wild, right?" And so then him and I talked to him about how I used to work backstage at other things, and it just became a conversation of two fans bullshitting about the craziness that is this moment, you know?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So nothing but the best for Drake and Kofi.
Yeah.
But any final thoughts?
Shaq was there talking about mental illness awareness
Who?
recently. Dax did.
Dax? Yeah, so Dax was on the Renee podcast and talked about being anxious and dealing with anxieties and feeling emotional. And yeah, I mean, shout out to him for opening up about that stuff and getting those conversations going, for sure. Yeah.
I didn't like with Jericho not bringing this up. I didn't like how he was poking with, Eddie and your mental problems. I did not like that. I thought that was very rude. It wasn't classy. Because mental health, it's no joke. And I mean, honestly, like that was real. I thought it was in poor taste.
Here's why here's the counter to that. The reason he brought it up is because that's what Eddie Kingston had to say on why he passed out for the Sparklers. He said that he deals with mental issues and he has high anxiety. And when he saw the explosions in the barbed wire, it reminded him of prison, and he had a panic attack that made him pass out. That was the promo he cut after that night.
I think we talked about it on episode 1 before. I don't know if he went to prison. Did he really go to prison?
No, I don't believe he spent much time in prison. I think he was in a holding cell for jail. But I don't know his history. But I am saying that all the time I've spent in prison, I never saw explosions, and barbed wire wasn't the thing. It was a razor wire at the top of a cage.
I'm sure you can ask MVP, and he'll tell you about he was in there for 5-6 years at least?
Yeah. But so what I'm saying is that they put it into the storyline that Eddie Kingston has mental issues and high anxiety and panic attacks. So therefore, when Jericho brings it up in the promo, it's in context of the story that is Eddie Kingston having a panic attack because of Sparklers. Got it. Otherwise, yeah, it would have been out of left field otherwise, for sure. And you'd been like, "What the fuck, dude?"
I was like,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I was really upset with them trying to talk their way out of it that way. Was like, how can we get people to stop making fun of it? Say it's mental health. People can't make fun of mental health or they get canceled. So, like, it was all kind of... I thought the whole presentation of that excuse was poor taste. So, referencing back to it, I'm already like, hey, we're already in the bucket, so...
You're like, come on.
Yeah. But, anything else? Anything else we're missing?
No, I don't. I think we got everything. I think there's nothing missing, no stone unturned. I'm wondering if we're gonna do a watch along with Revolution.
Unlikely. I don't see myself watching that.
No?
No. There's nothing on it that I'm like, can't live without, you know? And I don't pay for their pay-per-views.
I don't either. But we knew that.
Yeah.
And so on episode 1.
I mean, we'll see. If people tweet me about it and want me to, maybe I will. But as of right now. Yeah.
Want us to, live tweet about with Revolution, let us know.
Twitter Fox is saying Kofi and Big E deserve more. He says Jericho should set up sparklers around the arena for their match. I actually thought about that too. I was saying he should work sparklers into the finish somehow. He says, is Bayley coming back before or after Mania? I'm going to say before. But if I had to put money on it, I'd say right after. Like Monday after. And then he says the Thunder Rosa match. I'm not saying there's no matches I'm not interested in. Or I should say this. There's not any results I'm not interested in. I definitely want to know how Thunder Rosa match ends. But Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker for, the 4th time? I'm okay. I think that they already had the lights out unsanctioned match was the biggest blow off you can have to any rivalry, and we're still going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm past it. We already had the biggest blow off you could possibly have for a match. And Thunder won. And after Thunder won, what happened? Britt Baker became number one contender, won the title. So it's kind of like, whatever.
Yeah.
But that's not to say I don't want to know that Thunder Rosa wins because she deserves it, because she does. Just in Time says, cheers again to the dive bar of the IWC. Cheers to Just in Time.
Cheers, Justin.
Are you guys ready for last call?
I'm ready for last call.
I am too. Guys, thank you for coming through and having a drink with us, your drinking buddies, right here at Wrestling on the Rocks. We are at WOTR The Show. I am at Ref Marsh. You can find us and our merch at WrestlingOnTheRocks.com. Give Miss Amanda Jayne a follow on Twitter. And other than that, we'll be back here next week for a brand new episode 1, right here in the dive bar of the IWC.
Woo.
That's the last call.
Cheers.
Hey, producer lady here. Thanks for tuning in. Drink by following and putting the I in subscribe on Twitch. Or subscribe and review our podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to us. Cheers!
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.